What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 157 for your Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. I am your host, JD from New York, as always, joined by the one and only, the man who could single-handedly take down the Cyclops in the Odyssey. It's Solomon. What's going on, brother?
You enjoyed it, I see.
Bro, I thought it was fucking incredible.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now, my favorite scenes from the movie, the Cyclops scene and the witch scene.
Yes, the witch scene was very good.
Now, did you realize who played the witch?
Should I? I don't know. Who?
Alpha.
Get out of here. Really?
From the Walking Dead. Yes.
Wow, they cast that one perfect.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah. Wow. You know, I didn't really, I knew of the Odyssey lore and some of the literature. I forgot about that scene. I'm like, what is going on here? I was lured into a false sense of security. I'm like, oh man, these guys are going to get a nice meal and they're going to have some respite after a long journey. And then all of a sudden.
Never goes that smooth. What's wrong with you? Come on now. You knew there was impending doom coming.
Oh.
And the best part about it, and I didn't realize this until after, is that everything you saw there in that scene that was not CGI. That was all practical effects.
Again, I'm surprised. That's crazy.
Yeah, Nolan is a stickler for very little CGI in the entire movie, and he's a big stickler for practical effects, which I appreciate because I love it. I mean, some of my favorite like horror movies and not even just horror movies were practical effects. You don't see a lot of that these days. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a little bit more of the sirens with the siren song part, and then the six-headed beast in the mountain. I'm like, oh, I knew that was coming, but I didn't really think that they would show that sparse of it. Like it wasn't enough. I wanted to see what the beast looked like. All I've seen was its six tentacles, and I knew the lore behind it. Like for the six heads that it has, it takes six sailors every time a ship goes through that little narrow canal. I'm like, oh. You know. Yeah, but
that was great. Now I assume you didn't see. Did you see it in 70 millimeter? Did you?
No.
There's only one place in New York showing it.
I looked everywhere. I looked. It was sold out. It was like deep into August.
August, September in some places.
Yeah, so I watched it here in town. There was a small theater. I would say there was maybe like 10 people in the entire theater on a Saturday night.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's a small town, so it is what it is. But I thought Matt Damon's performance was great. Mm-hmm. I don't know who could possibly look at him and not think otherwise. And then John Leguizamo, I thought he was fucking great.
Yeah, no, he was terrific. I actually thought that Tom Holland was kind of like, eh. Compared to the other ones, I mean, he was just kind of there. Like, he wasn't bad, but he didn't detract from the movie. But I wouldn't go out of my way to say, oh man, he should win all kinds of awards. No, I wouldn't say that, but no, I mean, it was great. The only thing I regret, again, I wish seeing some of these images that people are posting online of what it looks like in real IMAX, it looks a lot better. It looks a lot better than seeing it in Limax, which is what I saw it in.
Well, if you guys want to go see it, two guys here highly recommend it. All the noise on social media about the casting choices. They lasted legitimately 3 minutes of maybe 5 minutes of on-air time. Like out of a 3-hour movie, that didn't feel like 3 hours. Social media is not real life, people. Go out and enjoy yourself. That's what I have come to a conclusion for. Great movie. So we'll get into a lot of what we had go on in the community today. Speaking of an Odyssey, it was quite the Odyssey this week. So much negativity and so much just whirlwind of news and where things are ending up in the pro wrestling landscape. We're going to get into all that. Busted open. We'll talk about the WWE Radio thing, being that you got two content creators here, how it affects us, how we look at it from the outside looking in. So we'll give you that perspective today. We both had a lot to say about it individually, and it'll be cool to see how we come together on that topic. Obviously, we'll talk about SummerSlam. We got 2 nights. We'll go over preview and predictions. Everything that you saw on the weekly television shows, we'll just kind of integrate into the SummerSlam discussion. We will be talking very briefly about AEW Redemption, which I think the general consensus is it was largely a waste of 5 hours. So we will definitely get into that. We'll touch upon some of the things that happened there. Willow's the new AEW Women's Champion. We had that angle play out at the end of the Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight match with Will Ospreay and the Death Riders. We'll talk about that and where we go into All In. and we'll talk that just horrible segment with Danhausen and Joe Hendry last night on Monday Night Raw. Ryan Garcia involved in all the shitstorm that he caused on social media.
Don't tell that to Tommy Dreamer. I mean, he loved that segment. Are you kidding me, JD?
I told Jason just straight up for you guys. We're not going to bullshit you. Tommy Dreamer. I got a clip sent to me about Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open After Dark with Bully Ray because they go live after NXT or during NXT, and he loved the Danhausen segment with Joe Hendry. He said it was very good television. I don't think that's what you really need to be doing in this very rocky landscape right now. So. Yes, we will not be going and embarking on that type of opinion here tonight. I can guarantee you. But again, thank you for joining us here on Tuesday Night Titans, episode 157. Jason, we have a big show coming up in about 2 weeks? Well, not even a week. Not even 2 weeks. About a week and a half, almost. Not even. So we got House of Glory on August 7th, and we are putting together quite the match card over there.
Yeah, we really are. And again, this show is going to be live and free on YouTube. So first time that we're doing this, you can stream the entire show on the official HOG YouTube channel. We have the HOG World Champion, Charles Mason, is going to be on the card defending against the Mad King, Eddie Kingston. Yeah, he's winding down a lot of his indie dates this year. So this could very well be the last chance we have to call an Eddie Kingston match in an HOG ring. Zilla Fatu. His name has been floating around for various reasons, but he's going to be with us in New York City. He's going to be defending his Crown Jewel Championship against the Amazing Red. And I know this is a match that he's wanted for a very long time. Well, it's going to go down in NYC. We have Shotzi. She's going to be taking on Shayna Baszler for the Women's Championship. The Blackheart, Leo Rush. It's fine, JD. He's going to be there. He may be our new Cruiserweight champion. Can you imagine that?
I can actually. I can, yes.
Well, it could very well happen on that show. He's going to be wrestling Darren Richardson, and we got a lot of other big things planned on that show. The Hardys will be there. So it's going to be a good time. The two of us will be there. Hopefully you will be too, but if not, YouTube is going to be the place to be Friday night, August 7th.
Yes, we'd love to see both of our communities just commiserate in the live stream chat. So have fun with that, and that's going to be a great show. Can't wait for August 7th. Very excited about that. Also, if you guys want to follow Jason on social media and on YouTube, you guys know where to find him. Everything is linked down below in the description. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button over here. If you're new, we had a lot of new people coming over and finding the 2 count this morning with me and Coach. Hopefully you guys can do the same thing with Jason. He's all over the place, one of the hardest working guys in the community. He basically takes no days off here, 7 days a week, just kind of rocking and rolling. So he's got it on Crown on the Ariel Helwani Podcast Network, and make sure you guys go check that out. And I was actually listening to that as I made dinner tonight. So he was talking about some of the Joe Hendry stuff and SummerSlam. Big weekend coming up, so get ready. And then Super Chats are open. I want to thank Havili in the chat. We got to give him a round of applause here tonight because Havili, before we even open the doors here, $100 Super Chat, my guy Havili. What's up, JD and Salamonster? JD, favorite SummerSlam, 96, 06, or 16? Salamonster, in an episode of Dark Side of the Ring, Jake says the original plan was for him to face the Warrior for the WWE Championship in 1991. If this was true, what would happen to Hogan and Savage? Thanks, Goats.
Well, first of all, Havili, you are the man. Thank you for the support. That is not true. I will give Jake the benefit of the doubt and say that he's getting his timelines mixed up, but it's not true. First of all, the timeline doesn't make any sense because what he's referring to there, Warrior had lost the championship at the beginning of 91. So what he's saying doesn't even make any sense. I remember him saying that in the Warrior Dark Side of the Ring episode. It's not true.
And then SummerSlam, 06, 16, or 96?
It's either 96 or 16. 16 had that great AJ Styles John Cena match.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 96.
I'm going to go 96 too.
Yeah. Do you remember who the title sponsor was for 96?
I do not.
They had a blimp.
Stridex?
Stridex.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or
that was their title sponsor. Those were simpler times, JD, where we had Stridex, the pimple pads, as like the big sponsor for WWE, and they had one blimp in the air above the ring, and that was it.
Now you're blessed with DiGiorno, wood-fired pizza.
Yeah. The rest of it was pro wrestling, and now we live in a very different timeline, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is just disgusting, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. I know I ranted my fucking balls off last night, just everything, man. Just a lot of anger came out. I'm just disgusted with everything. But we'll get into all that in just a little bit. I usually hand the ball off to Jason here. I will in a second, but I want to start off with this because this is just a small story that I feel we could start off with, being that he's supposed to be on NXT tonight, and I think he will be interviewed by Bully Ray on Busted Open After Dark tonight. Mike Santana. Now, we were live last week, and he showed up while we were live here on TNT. Showed up at the end of NXT. He did not have a name associated with him. Obviously, they talked about his accolades, and obviously you heard his music and who he is. You know who he is if you take a look at him. No name.
Yeah, and before you go any further, can we stop doing that? Can we stop debuting people on television before they have a name? They did this with Ricky Saints. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They did it with Nikki Blackheart too recently.
There was somebody on TikTok. I wish I knew who it was. I don't know if you saw that skit. They did like a video making fun of it.
No,
like Vic Joseph. Every time somebody new debuts in NXT, oh my goodness, look who it is. We know who that is, right? And just like, but it's true. It's so ridiculous. Can we just kind of pump the brakes and wait? Like, if you're gonna change someone's name, can they at least get their name first before you go ahead and have to pretend like you don't know who the person is?
Yeah, it is kind of lame and it's cheesy, but that's what they do. They feel like it works somehow in some weird way, but I hate it. So Mike Santana, we know who Mike Santana is, and he is no longer Mike Santana. There was a trademark that went out before he could actually get an official word out himself, and WWE trademarked Cruz Montana. Now, it sounds like a boss in GTA, Vice City. It doesn't sound like a wrestler name, but at first glance, I know everybody wants to shit on it, and I did it with Gunther. I did it with Finn Balor, and I always remember Road Dogg on social media saying, it's just a name. Everyone's going to get used to it in a week or two. Nobody's going to even realize the name change, and that's the truth. And that's the truth. But at least he has a good reason for the name change. He says, a name I put together as a tribute to honor my late father, who I've always made sure to keep as close as possible to my journey. Losing him 6 years ago is what sent me on the spiral that I've eventually rise from to become the man you see today. And today, that man addicted to greatness. Here's to the next chapter. Let's get it. So obviously, it's a tribute to his father. And if you guys know his story and his resurrection, you guys know how important his father was to him. His family is to him in general. I don't mind the name change, Jason, as long as it has a significant meaning to it. We know better than a lot of people what that man is capable of. We've seen him from the lows of lows to what he did in House of Glory. And just to pull back the curtain a little bit, I remember when House of Glory management came to both of us at the end of a show. I forgot what it was. And they were discussing putting the world championship on Mike Santana. And we both said collectively, that's fucking great. Let's do it. And that was, in my opinion, one of the greatest decisions that House of Glory ever made, to have him as champion for as long as he was our champion. He got to show himself in a way that I don't think any other place would have allowed him to do that. Brian and Red did that in House of Glory. We know what the guy's capable of. I wish him, you wish him nothing but the best. It's not going to be on Cruz Montana or Mike Santana when you see him creatively not booked the way that you think he should be booked. And you may be complaining that he went to NXT, but do you want him on the main roster with the current climate on the main roster right now? I know I don't.
No.
So this is the best move for him, and I think this is a good stage one for him again.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think him being in NXT at first is the right way to go here. Let him dominate down there. You know, let him make that his show, and maybe carry the NXT championship for a while, and then when the time is right, he'll get that call, you know, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, and he'll be ready, you know, because he's been ready. He's been ready for a while now. So, like you said, we know what he's able to do when you put him in that position. TNA fans got to see it to some degree when he was the champion there a couple of different times. And I have no doubt, like in NXT, he'll do very well. When it comes to the main roster, you know what? It's a crapshoot, because there have been so many talented people that have come to WWE. They get called up, and it's 50-50. and it has nothing to do with their talent or their abilities, right? They never would have been signed if they didn't have the talent. It all boils down to how they view them and what the booking looks like once they make it to Raw or SmackDown. I can't speak to what that looks like, but I know for him, he's worked his ass off to get to this point, and we wish him nothing but the best. It's going to be fun to follow along and see how far he can get.
Yes, it's going to be something that we both pay close attention to. So I just wanted to get that out there first and foremost. Congratulations to him. We're going to be watching everything he does because he is that good. So please don't sleep on Mike Santana. You're going to be in for a treat down at NXT. All right, man, I'm going to give you the ball. It's one of those weeks, man. What do you want to talk about?
Well, since we were talking about Santana, maybe it makes sense to start with the many names that became free agents this past week because their 90-day non-compete periods expired. And so we're already starting to hear certain things about some of these folks. Yeah. And then there's a lot of rumors swirling about others. So I think you have the list.
I do have the list.
So let's go through that.
WWE cut roughly 25 names on April 24th, hours before SmackDown, which is typically what they do. Black Friday is what the community has coined it. In one of the largest single-day roster reductions in recent company history, main roster talent were subject to 90-day non-compete clauses, which now have lapsed, opening the door for other promotions to sign them and scoop them up. Some of the names are as follows. Kairi Sane, who apparently is now represented by Barry Bloom, as you see in her Instagram profile. So wherever she goes, the money will follow because that's what Barry Bloom does. Aliester Black, we don't know.
The Scott Boris of the wrestling world, is that what we're looking at here?
Yes, exactly. Where she ends up, I don't know, but she's getting paid. Aliester Black, we don't know where he may end up. I could see him in AEW because look at what Andrade has been able to do. Maybe he gets a second lease on life in AEW. I don't know where he ends up. What do you think him and Zelina end up, Jason?
I honestly don't know. I really don't. I don't know what the mindset is of Tony Khan. If Tony Khan would even have any interest in bringing him back in. I mean, publicly, he probably would, put a happy face on it. I don't know how he feels about that. There's TNA, again, there's TNA as an option. Then you get into whether or not, could they give him what he's looking for? I don't know. So a little murky on him. I don't want to say I don't know that he burned a bridge with AEW per se, but I don't know that Tony Khan is going to necessarily be jumping out of his seat, to bring him back. Are they going to want to be a package deal? Are they going to want to continue to work together? If you want one, you get the other. I don't know how that's going to work, but TNA could be an option there.
How likely is it that Tony brings in Zelina and pairs Zelina with Andrade? I think that would actually work the way we're seeing Andrade's character develop in AEW.
Yeah, but to do that with her and not want anything to do with him, again, we're just spitballing here. I don't know. I mean, is that something that, would be cool with them? That's why I said, do they want to work together like they were doing in WWE? Yeah. So where one goes, the other might want to go.
It's going to be interesting. I know she changed her name slightly. It's still Zelina, but now it's with an X and not a Z. So,
which I love, by the way. What a way to get around that. By the way. Sounds exactly the same, but just one little letter. I love that.
Yeah, it reminds me of Xena, Warrior Princess. I was a big fan of that show.
Yes. But before we do anything else, we have to acknowledge someone.
What happened? I'm not even looking at.
We have to acknowledge a bomb. That was just dropped on
Whoa! Oh my God! You're getting the whole kabang here. Holy shit! Oh my God! Brandon Jordan with a $300 super chat. That's a fucking bomb. Hey guys, big fan of TNT and the channel in general. JD, been watching you since I was in 8th grade, and your story about how you stuck to what you believed in is so motivating. I'm 20 years old now, and I'm an actor on Broadway and still always listening or watching. Much love, bro. OTS for life. That's another round of applause right there. Brandon, I appreciate that, man. Those comments do not go unnoticed, and I get more of them than I can count, man. 8th grade was... Just looking back at that comment, man, where was I when you were in 8th grade? What was I doing? Where was I living? How was I acting? Probably a lot more crazier than I am now. Yeah,
old man JD over here.
I know, but Brandon, thank you so much, man. That means the world to both Jason and I. Thank you for being here. Good luck in whatever you're doing on Broadway, man. That sounds very exciting.
Yeah. Keep us posted. That's actually very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And thank you for being a part of the TNT family, man. I appreciate that very much. Wow, that's crazy, man. You don't know what to say sometimes when those big bombs come in like that. That's ridiculous. So we appreciate all the love and support. Zelina now with an X and not a Z. We'll see what happens with both of them. Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas is a part of this list. Nikki Storm now, formerly Nikki Cross. Dexter Lumis, who just made his return to the Indies with Joe Gacy. They're actually a tag team. Eric Rowan, I don't know where he'll end up. Santos Escobar, who also changed his name. I don't have it in front of me right now, but he is...
believe it's... correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I believe it's Romeo Malverde.
Yes.
Is that the name? I believe so.
So he is now under that alias. No more is Santos Escobar. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, who we could very well see on Wednesday.
I think we're going to absolutely see them this week. I mean, my God, Dynamite and Collision are both in Detroit this week. So if it's not Wednesday, it would be Thursday. I mean, look, I would debut them on the live show on Wednesday tomorrow. I think it would be ridiculous to do it on a taped Collision, but they're in the Motor City this week. So if ever there was a time, if they're coming into AEW, it is happening this week.
Well, they already announced that Rhino will be a part of the AEW tapings on Wednesday and Thursday. So,
doing what?
I don't know.
He
gored somebody last time he was in Philadelphia. I forgot who though.
He gored Dr. Hillary P. Wisdom last time he was in House of Glory. I loved it. I replayed that 10 times.
That was one of the best spots last year.
It was great.
And Zoe Stark. So she is going to be able to get back into the ring after a just unbelievably just terrible injury. So WWE let her go in the middle of her rehabilitation, just literally on the cusp of coming back. So they could stick it where the sun don't shine. Hopefully she kills it. I'd love to see what she does. You know, AEW's got, the starry eyes. Every time Tony has free agents like this hit the free agent market, it's going to be very tempting to not bring some of these names in. We're talking about Motor City Machine Guns and the New Day. Obviously, those are four guys right there that are absolutely coming on in from what we've heard. Kairi, I could see coming in. I'm surprised we didn't see Kairi kind of interfere in the Tekla match. I had predicted with Jesse that I thought Kairi was going to interfere in the Tekla match, cost of the championship, and maybe we'll be on the road to Kairi and Tekla at All In, but we didn't see that. Any one of these other names, Jason, that you could see maybe going to AEW or maybe in Santos Escobar's case, CMLL?
Oh, Escobar for sure. I could see Escobar end up in both places. And Kairi too. I mean, if Kairi was to, let's say, go to Stardom, right? Stardom has a working relationship with AEW. And actually, Tekla is a champion right now in Stardom. So just because she didn't show up at the pay-per-view doesn't mean they still can't set something up for Wembley. You know, we still have several weeks. So... Let's see what happens. I would still imagine that Kairi may end up involved here in some way. Zoe is somebody who I think, look, anybody should want to give her a shot as far as their women's division is concerned. You don't think she could mix it up with any of the women in the Knockouts division or in the AEW women's division and not contribute there? And she's going to have a chip on her shoulder, man. You have to know that given the way things worked out for her, the injury, making that comeback, getting cleared, and then getting released, that she's not going to have a chip on her shoulder to want to go out there and show people, okay, all right, I'm going to show you what kind of value I can bring.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous person, man. You know, that she's going to be extra motivated. So wherever she lands, she's going to contribute in a major way. I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing what she can do.
It's going to be interesting to see how much money TNA can actually spend. I don't know how much they have budget-wise, but they just had a great week ratings-wise. They hit over 300,000 people for TNA Impact. 305,000 in the ratings this week. I think they had a very good demo.
Thank the Hardys for that.
Well, what did the Hardys do? I didn't pay attention.
They had this, the Righteous Deletion.
Oh, at the Lake of Reincarnation, huh?
Yes. Yes. But again, to the people who wonder sometimes, they're the occasional comment, and again, we have them as tag team champions in House of Glory. Well, why is TNA still featuring the Hardys so hard? They've been around for a while now. There's a reason why, because the Hardys are still a draw.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of tag teams out there that want to work with them because the Hardys, arguably, I mean, everyone will have their personal list of what they think are the greatest tag teams of all time. The Hardys are going to be on every single one of those lists, most likely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, when they pull numbers like that, it's not hard to see why they're featured in the way that they are. They are the biggest attraction. Make no mistake, they are the biggest attraction in TNA. More than any other singular act, tag team, or singles on that show, the Hardys, they are the attraction. Like in the way Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes would be in WWE, right? Or again, pick the equivalent in AEW, Kenny Omega, MJF. That's what the Hardys are to TNA.
Yeah, I agree. They are as important now to TNA as they were maybe fucking 15 years ago, honestly.
Yeah.
That's incredible. 307,000 viewers, a 0.05 in the 18-49 demo, just to give you guys an idea what the ratings were for TNA. New high audience on AMC. If they brought in an Aliester Black and a Zelina Vega, or if they brought in a Bo Dallas, or any of these names that could really make a difference, especially at the top of the card with Nemeth as the world champion, I mean, I would love to see them continue that momentum. Clearly, there is some good faith there from the audience to the product, especially when it comes to the Hardys. Build around that. I don't know how much money they got to spend, but bring in a name or two and see what they can do. Where do you want to go, man? You want to start AEW or you want to stick with the WWE stuff?
Let's talk Redemption.
All right.
We'll talk Redemption.
Let's talk Redemption. We'll get it out of the way, being that most of the audience is watching NXT for the next hour. Hopefully, we'll get you out of here in about 25 minutes with this unappealing and unenthusiastic show that was on Sunday night. Jason and I were both live on our channels for it. The one thing that I will say right out of the gate is that the earlier start time really didn't make a difference. And I don't understand why you start the show at 7 p.m. and you go off the air legitimately almost, 7 minutes to midnight? Almost the same exact time that an 8 p.m. show would go off the air. I don't know why he did that, Tony Khan. I don't know why he said that he was moving it back or moving it up rather, and wanting to test the waters. Bro, you had 7 years to test the waters. All he did realistically was move the show up so that he could get an extra 2 matches on the card that we didn't really need at the end of the night.
Well, I mean, what he did was he avoided ending the show at almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So instead, he ended it at almost 12 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I heard what he said also, we're experimenting.
Yeah.
The reason that the show was moved up to an earlier time is because there were a lot of people who were very upset about it after Forbidden Door. Like, you can draw a straight line from one to the other. Because you had people who were like, my God, like the main event didn't go to the ring at Forbidden Door until 12:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that sort of feedback on social media. And all of a sudden, the next pay-per-view is bumped up by an hour. So that's the reason he did it. I hope he keeps it that way going forward. But like you said, it's not going to make that much of a difference, really, if we're still doing 5 hours plus. I understand contractually he has to go 3 hours and 45 minutes minimum. That's the deal he made, apparently. He's claimed that before. 4 hours, though, is very different from 5 hours. And so I think tightening the show up a little bit. And this is my argument. People are like, well, I'm going to get my money's worth. He's giving people their money's worth. Are you honestly going to, let's say you paid for the show. Are you going to tell me that if he shaved 2 or 3 matches off the show that you would feel like you didn't get your money's worth?
I
would get my money's worth. I wouldn't. Look, if we had 8 matches on the show, let's say, instead of 10 or 11, I wouldn't feel shortchanged. And it would make a world of difference.
First of all, I didn't pay for the show. I watched it through other means.
Oh.
Make your own conclusions.
Report you to the authorities. Report this man.
I gave them my $50 for 7 years, man. I just refused on this Sunday.
You have to wear your eye patch the next time we come here on the stream.
Yeah,
that you are.
Yeah. No, quality over quantity is what I've always preached. If this went from 7 to 11 and we got 7 matches, 8 matches minimum, I mean, or like Jason said, are you going to feel shortchanged? Like, did you really need to see Sheeta and Maya World on pay-per-view or the Dogs versus the Bang Bang Gang? I mean, are you losing sleep over not watching that exhilarating match on Sunday? No. Come on. So this pay-per-view...
Well, look, I mean, the thing with Redemption, the moment that Kenny Omega beat MJF to win the World Championship at Beach Break, this show essentially became obsolete. But they had a commitment to the show, extra money in their pocket. They want to have this one last pay-per-view here before we get to All In. And so a show called Redemption was built around a main event that had nothing to do, as it turned out, with anyone's redemption. Unless I guess you count Will Ospreay for dumping the Death Riders, but now we're really reaching. So this pay-per-view really didn't need to exist. They could do one. I mean, it's not like we haven't had to use the WWE equivalent, WrestleMania is their big event of the year. And they always have a pay-per-view or a PLE coming up before WrestleMania, right? So this is not like a foreign concept in wrestling. But I'm watching some of these matches and I'm like, this match could have been a TV match. That match could have been a TV match. You could save that for a big Grand Slam episode of Dynamite, which, by the way, they have one coming up at Arena Mexico on August 5th. And yeah, we got a lot of really good matches. We got some not so great matches on this show. But when it was over, it just felt like somebody in my chat was like, this show was the equivalent of this could have been an email. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about Redemption. This could have been an email. But it wasn't without its newsworthy moments. There were things that happened on the show. It's just that it didn't necessarily have to be on the pay-per-view. It could have been on TV.
Yes, it was a Dynamite with a $50 price tag is what it was.
More or less. Well,
yes.
40 if you're
40 if you're a Max
buying it on HBO Max.
We'll start here. Main show. We had a 6-man ladder match.
I do want to say one thing about the pre-show. So on the pre-show, they had a celebration of the Rougeau family. So they had Jacques and Raymond, the Rougeau brothers, come out to the ring and they were interviewed. And Raymond Rougeau, who's the mayor of like a nearby town, he cuts this promo. He's talking to the fans, all in French. This was about as long as the Odyssey was. Okay, he just kept going on and on and on and on. And then a little bit of English at the end. And then Jacques, of course, was just chomping at the bit, ready to talk. And when he did, he got booed. So the fans in the building are booing him. And then he kind of goes heel on the fans and, oh, you could all kiss my ass or whatever, because he has a reputation as not being, a great person and being somebody who, like a lot of wrestlers, I know Kevin Owens hates him. Kevin Owens is not like Jacques Rougeau. You could look up that story. So I think he was trying to play it off like, oh, I'm like a wrestling heel. And I'm like, no, I just don't think these people liked him very much. So it was kind of amusing to see that. But the Rougeau brothers, look, when I first started watching wrestling, the Rougeau brothers were part of a very robust tag team division. You and I often talk about tag team wrestling. Those were the glory days of tag team wrestling, and they were a big part of that.
You mean the current Monday Night Raw tag team division isn't lighting the world on fire, is what you're saying?
Put it this way. We have 2 nights of SummerSlam this weekend, and we have 0 tag team title defenses. They have 3 sets, in fact. The tag team titles, not one of them are being defended this weekend.
Otis was written off television last night, which now leaves the Monday Night Raw tag team division to a whopping 1 team. The Vision.
Oh, God.
Or the Creeds. I don't know where the fuck they are. I don't know. Are
they still employed? Do they still work there?
I don't know. We may be finding out what Enzo and Cass, if Enzo is coming in, what they'll be doing coming back to the WWE. We'll see that.
No, you know what? On that subject, just real quick, because we had one last vignette last night for Big Cass. Again, no sign of Enzo.
No.
So it feels like maybe they ended up not making that deal. I mean, unless he's going to pop up as a surprise next week. I'm okay with that. Like I've been saying all along that I think Big Bill coming back and getting a singles push is the way to go, and that's going to be kind of better for him. So if he's really coming in by himself for a singles run, I think that's a great move.
Well, if they come in together, what are they walking into?
They're walking into nothing, dude. That's the whole point. You're going to have Braun. I mean, we could go on about Braun Breaker. You're going to have Braun Breaker in a tag team feud with Enzo Amore. I mean, is this where things are going to go for Braun Breaker? I mean, come on. They have nobody. There's no point. There's no point in reuniting these two.
No, we'll see on Monday. Cass is supposed to be showing up on Monday. Beast Morto showed back up on AEW television. He got his visa issues all squared away. So he's in there, the 6-man ladder match with El Clone, Nick Wayne, who's back, Speedball Mike Bailey, Commander, and Jack Perry, who wants the AEW World Championship. Everybody wants the AEW World title. He's in a ladder match, though, for the number 1 contendership for the international title. This goes to Speedball Mike Bailey. I mean, if you saw a ladder match, you've seen every ladder match because they're all basically the same. Commander is always impressive. He does that top rope walk, and he did a big dive onto everybody.
Yeah, they were trying to kill Nick Wayne in this match because he took what you talked about there is the rope walk dive that Commander did, and it was to Nick Wayne, who was laid out on a table outside the ring. And then later on, God, who was it? Who was it that gave Nick Wayne the destroyer on the ladder bridge? Commander? I don't remember who it was.
I don't remember who it was either.
No, it was Jack Perry. I think it was Jack Perry. Whoever it was, I was watching this match thinking, man, does he owe somebody money? Like he was taking all kinds of abuse here in this match. But when Speedball pulled the contract down, the place went nuts because this was his home province.
Yeah.
So everything he did, they loved. And anybody who did anything to him, they booed. So it was the perfect time if you were going to put him in a match like this. This was the place to do it. He got a superstar reaction.
Speedball also did a high jump off the ladder on the stage onto everybody in the typical, everybody waits down below and waits for the guy to jump on them spot, which I can't stand. I wish they would do away with that spot.
Well, all these matches have those contrived spots.
Stupid.
Yeah.
But he wins this match here. Now he's the number one contender to the international title held by Kyle Fletcher, and the match was made for Grand Slam Mexico on August 5th at Arena Mexico. Now, the last time these two wrestled, I don't know if it was earlier this year on Dynamite, but I'm going to go back even further than that in the Continental Classic. It ended up being one of the best main event matches, or best matches, period, on Dynamite in 2025. So obviously their work together is incredible. So I'm expecting that Arena Mexico match with the ambiance and the whole vibe there to be even better. The thing is, Jason, I questioned this with Jesse. I don't know where they're going with Kevin Knight going into All In. I don't know what they're doing with Darby, if they're going to pair them together for the TNT Championship going into Wembley Stadium. Don't you think that this should have been for the number one contendership for the TNT Championship and maybe set up Speedball versus Kevin Knight at All In? Did you have any thought of that at all when watching this match play out?
Yeah, I did, and it doesn't mean that they can't still set it up that way. I mean, I don't know if Kevin Knight would, because Kevin Knight's part of the same faction as Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
Now, they don't necessarily like each other very much, but who's to say that Kevin Knight doesn't get involved in that match and cost Speedball, and that's kind of leads to Speedball going off with Kevin Knight. Because, like you said, that would have made more sense. I still feel like that may be the match, just because they already kind of blew off the Darby match, right? I mean, Kevin Knight beat Darby the other week.
Yeah. Cheated, but he won.
Yeah, true. So they could run it back. But no, they may still come around to doing that. But yeah, on the surface, it seems like that would have made more sense. That is going to be a great match, though. I am looking forward to that very much. Yeah,
so we'll see what happens with that. So he wins that. Tag team match here with the Young Bucks, Will Ospreay, and Jon Moxley. So this was actually something the Bucks said today on Being the Elite, that this was their idea. They put this match together, and it was very personal for them. So they said that today on their live vlog on YouTube. But the whole story here was the beginning stages of the Ospreay and Jon Moxley situation. So we got a situation in the match where I think it was Nick Jackson who got hit with a hidden blade, and they started selling the head trauma angle in the match, and Jon Moxley was very obsessive here. He wanted Will Ospreay to stay on the attack, and he wanted him to go for the kill and take that final kill shot. And Will Ospreay was very hesitant in everything he wanted to do here because he felt like it wasn't necessary. So Jon Moxley basically tagged himself in, and he took matters into his own hands. So Moxley brought in a chair and knocked the referee down. He went to hit Nick. Ospreay takes the chair away from Jon Moxley. So Matt super kicked the chair into Will Ospreay's face. Bucks then turn the match around, kick Moxley in the head, and this leads to a eventual win for the Young Bucks here. So Ospreay and Moxley's, I guess, kind of whole plan here fell apart.
Yeah, so I think they bonked heads. I don't know if it was a hidden blade, but the funny part about that is, so Nick Jackson is selling his head, right? He's all woozy, right? And he was basically doing that for not the entire match, but like large portions of the match. And I'm just like, is this referee completely inept here? This man looks like he's totally on Dream Street. And like the referee doesn't seem, too concerned about either getting him out of the match or stopping the match. And I understand why they didn't want to stop it, but I thought that was goofy. I do have to say, a couple of things about just the Young Bucks here. In some ways, it was a very different Young Bucks match because for parts of the match, it was very slow. And again, they were kind of focusing on Nick's head and everything, and Matt was trying to protect his brother. And I was like, okay, they slowed things down a little bit. That's a little bit different. They're trying to tell more of a story. And then there was this flurry, this offensive flurry in the middle of the match where everybody was hitting a big move. And Will Ospreay comes flying out like from off screen with a 450 splash. and he lands on Nick Jackson. Right?
Jesse and I talked about this on Sunday.
Picture perfect 450 splash. And I watch Nick Jackson just get right back up to his feet like it didn't even happen. I was like, what? Can you explain this to me?
It was the worst no-sell I've seen of the entire year.
I couldn't believe it.
I don't know.
I'm like, what was the purpose of that? Why even do the spot? Dude, he got right back up.
Bro, it was the most perfect 450 you'd probably ever see from anybody.
And some real impact, too. Like, when he landed on him, like, he knocked the wind out of the guy, and he just gets right back up to his feet like it didn't even happen.
This is why the criticisms come down on AEW for the way that they have every match laid out the same way.
Well, so in some ways, it was the best of the Young Bucks. If you're a Young Bucks fan, right, you got a lot of Young Bucks stuff, but it was also the worst of the Young Bucks. You kind of got the tale of two cities here in this match. But yeah, so Ospreay didn't do what Moxley was willing to do, but because Ospreay hesitated, the story was that it cost him the match. Which I said coming into it, like, this needs to be a Bucks win because it's just more interesting, right? If Ospreay and Moxley lose because they've won all their matches so far, and if you're going to have the Bucks challenging for the tag team titles, why the hell would you have them lose?
Yeah. It was a good match. I mean, I've seen better Bucks tag team matches.
It was a good match, but again, that 450 spot, that was egregious.
It was terrible. Yeah.
That was just fucking offensive.
Yeah. So that was the story there. That'll come into play in the main event, whatever happened with Ospreay and Jon Moxley. Kyle Fletcher and Bandito. This was for the International Championship. Why? Because Bandito shoved the wanted poster in Kyle Fletcher's chest 2 weeks ago on Dynamite, and all of a sudden a match was made. This was after Bandito had lost to Swerve and lost to Jon Moxley at Forbidden Door for the Continental Championship. Now he wanted to wrestle for the International Championship while also being the Ring of Honor champion, and he just continues to lose matches on big pay-per-views. I don't know what Tony Khan is thinking, but Bandito's better than that. Jason, this match went 27 minutes. 27 minutes off of a match that was built off a wanted poster shoved in Kyle Fletcher's chest.
He was very upset that his promo was interrupted in that backstage segment, and he just wasn't going to let it go. Yeah, I said on my end, I said, this. You know what this was? This was a great 15-minute match. And then they just kept going.
I don't know.
And going.
Tony Khan does these things. I'm convinced Tony Khan does these things because he knows the match doesn't make any sense. There's no story about the match and why it's happening, so he just lets them go out there and wrestle for 30 minutes to prove a point. Oh, look, it's a great match. We didn't need a story. Like, bro, we know Kyle Fletcher and Bandito are very capable of being a great pro wrestler in the ring. We don't need to see them wrestle 30 minutes every pay-per-view just because. Kyle Fletcher's so much better than that, and Bandito's so much better than that too, but Fletcher got the win in what was a very good match. I mean, who's going to remember to talk about it after Sunday? I don't know. We are. And that's the last we'll talk about it. But no reason for Fletcher to lose the championship. He's got something brewing with Takeshita still, who came back on Wednesday. And then we got Okada. So, like Jason said several times on this show, we're probably looking towards a triple threat match at All In between Takeshita, Fletcher, and Okada for the International Championship at Wembley Stadium. Then we go, unfortunately, into what could have been on AEW Rampage. And Rampage doesn't even exist, which is my point. The match shouldn't have existed. The Dogs. This is Clark Connors and David Finlay versus Jay White and Juice Robinson. This was a double chain match. 18 minutes, Jason. 18 minutes. Okay. This could have been, this was a good 8-minute match. Just to go based off what you said with Fletcher and Bandito being a good 15-minute match. The crowd was dead here. Dead.
Crowd was dead. Well, the crowd was dead for good reason. I hated this match.
It was awful.
This was the worst thing on the entire show.
Do you realize there was a double chain? There was 2 chains here, and the whole equalizer at the end of the match was the dreaded shillelagh.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
To
sell the brutality of this chain match, we have to end with a completely different foreign object.
Any thoughts on Jay White almost getting a neck injury here?
Well, yeah. It was obviously very scary because these chains, it looked like David Finlay got tripped up on the chain. And so that was sort of what led to this. Very, very scary. He was giving him a dominator. And it looked like, and I said this on Uncrowned earlier, I said, Jay White is very lucky to be up and moving around, and he has this catchphrase. He goes, breathe with the switchblade, right? That's his thing. Breathe with the switchblade. Yeah. I said on my end, I said, man, he's just lucky he's able to breathe without the help of a machine after that spot, because that could have gone very badly. So that sucked. And then the match itself, the most egregious sin of the match for me, I just thought it was boring. These guys were whipping the shit out of each other with the chain. They were doing their thing. They were having what they felt like was probably some epic encounter. Like you said, the crowd was quiet. They didn't really seem to be into it. And I was just bored watching it. I mean, I can't say that this feud has really done much for me to begin with. We had a singles match on Dynamite last week in Boston between Jay White and Clark Connors. That was Jay White's first singles match in like 15 months. And I felt the same way about that match. That match was a slog to get through. And it pains me to say that because I like Jay White and he's been gone for so long and I'm glad he's back, but like this ain't it.
Remember when there was discussion about David Finlay joining NXT and leading this group called The Birthright on NXT television?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's happy, but I don't think WWE is losing sleep over not bringing in David Finlay to NXT. I don't know. The whole storyline just reminds me of MFTs and Wyatt Six. It's just fucking garbage. I can't stand it. And we're probably looking at Jay White and David Finlay in some capacity at Wembley Stadium, sadly. Jay White's so much better than that. So they went 18 minutes, and the Dogs needed the win here because I'm assuming that the Bang Bang Gang will win the war with the Dogs. And no Gabe Kidd yet. Don't know what's happening with him, if he's injured or if it's another visa issue. I don't know what's going on with him. Shida, TBS Championship, defended here against Maya World. 17 minutes.
Can I... Did it go 7? I didn't realize.
Yes.
What was the shortest match on this show?
I don't know.
Main card.
I'm not on Cage Match. Right
Was
now.
there any match that went less than 16 or 7? Was this the shortest match on the show?
It might have been. I will tell you.
Okay, well, you look that up. Yeah. I have to point this out. That when I did my predictions for this pay-per-view, right? So we had 10 matches on this show, right? At least on the main card, we had 10 matches. I got 9 out of 10 right. The one match that fucked me over was this match right here.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't think so soon after putting the TBS title on Shida, which was sitting dormant for a month, by the way. And then they had that match on July 1st, I think it was. And then she won the championship. I didn't think that they were going to take the title away from her this quickly. That was the only reason I didn't go with Maya World. And now I'm freaking pissed. 9 out of 10 I went on this show.
Oh, I mean, that's still good. You still bat 900.
It's still good, but so what was the shortest match? Did you look
the
it up? The
shortest match was actually Willow and Tekla, 15 minutes and 58 seconds. That's according to cagematch.net.
So 15 minutes was the shortest match of the 10.
Yes.
On the show.
Yes. This one went exactly
which happened by the way to
minutes.
be one of the biggest matches on the show.
Yes.
Coming into it.
Yes. This match went 16 minutes and 37 seconds. I will be giving you the times for these matches because it was just egregious how awfully long this show was. I didn't like this match at all. This could have been saved for Collision. I didn't care about why this happened. I don't even know why this happened. I guess Maya World came out and saved someone from a beatdown.
I think it was Queen Aminata, yeah.
Who should have been in this whole TBS championship situation to begin with. She should have been the champion, but they gave it to Shida.
Yeah. So, look, I don't mind them putting the belt on Maya because I wasn't really a fan of the decision to put the belt on Shida in the first place.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that Maya, at least they're continuing the push for Maya. You know, my concern was that she was going to go off to do something with Athena in Ring of Honor and, barely anybody would notice. So now she's the TBS champion, which means that she'll be on AEW television. So I see that as being a good thing. I didn't hate this match in the way that you did, and I saw other people also really didn't like it. I didn't think it was great, but I also didn't think it was necessarily as bad as some people thought it was until we got down the stretch with the near falls.
I think me and Jesse kind of chalked it up to Shida losing a step or two. She doesn't feel the same.
No, she doesn't. No. I've said that since she came back.
Yeah.
But it was the constant near falls that just took me out of it. She must have blasted Maya with like knee strike after knee strike after knee strike, and then maybe the katana. She was hitting her with all these moves, and it was just kick out after kick out after kick out after kick out. And like after a while, it's like, okay, like so how is she going to win? Like whoever wins this match, how are they going to win? And it ended exactly the way I knew that it was going to end with a flash pin. I knew it. I knew it.
Well, she'd have tried for her Falcon Arrow, and she didn't even execute that properly. It was just a mess. I agree with you on Maya World. I'm glad that they're continuing the push for her.
Yeah.
Instead of going to Ring of Honor and just disappearing into obscurity. So good on Tony for doing that. Who she wrestles going into Wembley Stadium? I don't know. I mean, they got a talented women's division. It's just they just need to develop a reason why, and maybe develop a little bit of a story going into All In for her first title defense. We'll see what happens. Tag team championship match, which in my opinion was the best match up until this point, because it felt like a normal match. There's no reason why this match took place. It just felt like a normal match without all the fucking false finishes and the big spots and all the craziness. Cope and Cage defended against the Death Riders, Claudio and PAC here. This match went 18 minutes and 36 seconds. Obviously, Copeland and Christian won the match. I mean, do you remember why this match took place? Why were they wrestling the bench warmers here for the Death Riders?
Well, because the Death Riders apparently had consistently gotten involved in their business. And Copeland said he wanted to just put an end to them once and for all. Because they beat the Death Riders C team on Dynamite.
They did.
And so this was the Death Riders B team. We had the Death Riders A team earlier against the Young Bucks.
Is that what they got going on? Three different
much,
tiers
yeah.
of tag teams? Okay.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
So, but here's the thing I've noticed about these Cope and Christian matches, especially with Copeland, he sells for like 90% of them. Basically what his matches are at this point. He just sells and sells and sells and sells and sells, and then makes the big comeback at the end. So it followed that exact same formula here. It got good there towards the end, and so it was a good match that they had, but most of it was a handicap match where you had some combination of PAC or PAC and Claudio beating up Christian, or when he would tag out, they were beating up Copeland, and then in the end they pulled it out. Which again, there was no drama or doubt as to what the outcome of this match was going to be, because we all knew what the destination would be for London. Is there anybody who did not expect that this was not going to be the setup for the Young Bucks match on that show?
Well, smart people question why the Young Bucks weren't in tag team title contention already after kind of setting themselves up for that. So we got these two guys challenging for the titles. And then when Cage and Cope won, out comes the Young Bucks. And the graphic is already thrown up before a word is even said. And it's now official for All In. It's going to be the Young Bucks versus Cope and Cage at All In Wembley Stadium. And I have to ask you, how do you think the makeup of that match is going to be? Because we know what the Young Bucks like to do and how their style is. How is Cope and Cage going to kind of go into that match wrestling the way that they usually? They're going to have to pick it up a little bit, or are the Bucks going to have to wrestle Cope and Cage's style?
I mean, I don't know if they can pick it up enough to, match up to the usual Bucks pace. The Bucks are going to have to kind of slow it down and go down to their level that they're capable of, or they're going to add more teams to it, so you don't put as much on Cope and Christian. There is still time. We could very well get an FTR return. We don't know when the New Day is going to show up. I have no doubt that they will be coming in. It's just a matter of when at this point. So who's to say that it stays 2-on-2? They may add another 1 or 2 teams to this. The thing is, like, if they wanted to add a stipulation, like let's say a ladder match, we just had a ladder match.
Yes.
So to me, it's like, well, if they are going to add a stipulation, I wouldn't be adding a ladder match because you already did one on this show.
I think didn't Tony say that he wants to do something in regards to like a worldwide tag team classic or tag team tournament sometime this year or maybe early next year? Did you hear that news? No?
I mean, it's possible. Did he say that at the Scrum?
I don't know if he said it at the Scrum, but I heard the Bucks. I think the Bucks mentioned something that Tony said something to put eyeball emojis to the possibility of a tag team tournament with all these teams coming in.
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, you could do it. I mean, other promotions have had tag team tournaments like that. Didn't TNA many years ago have like a world? I forgot what they called it, but I think they had teams representing different countries, like almost like the World Cup. So I mean, it's been done before, and it's not like they don't have enough tag teams of their own to supply for something like that. And they have the partnerships with New Japan, and they have the partnership with CMLL. Maybe they can get Yuto Ice in from New Japan, and Mystico in and make him part of a team in there. So I didn't hear him say that, but it wouldn't shock me. He's got a lot of ideas.
He's got a lot of ideas. That is correct. The tag team division is their strongest asset right now and will only get stronger. So I'm excited to see what they do there. No holds barred match. Chris Jericho, the Painmaker, came out to Judas Priest, Painkiller. Excellent fucking song. Classic song. Nobody cared in Montreal, though. Such a great metal song. Nobody cared that he came out to Painkiller against Tommaso Ciampa.
How old is that song?
It's older than me and you.
Well, that's probably why. Maybe it's just not as popular as certain other older songs, and so people were like, "What is this?" They wanted to sing Judas. Maybe they were very upset.
I guess. Well, they didn't get Judas or Metalingus because the Death Riders attacked what's his name, Copeland during the ring entrance. Right. So no sing-alongs.
They didn't play Metalingus when they won, though.
No, the Bucks came out and interrupted
right away.
Yeah, it was legitimate. Like 10, 15 seconds later. Yeah. No sing-alongs from Montreal tonight.
I guess not.
So it's the Painmaker versus the Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa. 21 minutes and 52 seconds was the bell to bell here for this match. This was, listen, I can't stand the plunder, the blood, the nonsense. We see it every week. There's no way around it. Tony's got a fetish for it. AEW is going to do it. The more you do it, the less impactful it is. I've always said that, and I will continue to say that. But this was fun. I think Ciampa's fucking great. Jericho seems to be having fun. He's not jammed down our throats. He's having fun. He says, today I just seen an article that he will continue to do what he's got to do as long as he's having fun doing it, which, God bless him. The thing with this is, Jason, I don't really know if this match and the story and the feud between these two needed all the hijinks and the power drills and the hockey pucks and the hockey sticks and all the rigmarole. But this was a fun match, and him Ciampa attacking the stuffed animal in the middle of the ring, the Montreal Canadiens mascot stuffed animal, got the biggest pop of the night.
I don't know what that says about the match. That guy got the biggest pop of the night, but
he gave a fucking a lung blow to the fucking stuffed animal.
yeah. And well, he put a Boston Bruins jersey on too. I think
he did. Yes.
You said that Jericho's probably having a good time. My impression is that Ciampa is probably having the time of his life.
Sure.
Because now he's got the freedom to go out there and have, the kinds of matches that he wanted to have in WWE, but he couldn't. And I'm sure his partner is probably watching, and he's probably a little bit jealous, watching Ciampa go out there and do his thing while he's laying on a crate, planking every week. So Ciampa going out there and using all kinds of weapons and bleeding all the time, like he looks like he's having a blast. If you want to sum up the ridiculousness of this match, it goes beyond the stuffed animal. All I need to do is just sit here and tell you that Chris Jericho won the match with a power drill. And that pretty much just sums up the entire situation. I don't know if Ciampa verbally submitted or if the referee just...
I think the referee just called it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that would be kind of the red line you don't cross, right? Use a power drill on someone's skull.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
is that how it works?
I guess somewhere a hardcore enthusiast is having a blast with this. I don't care.
I'm just
this.
happy. You know what I'm happy about? I'm just happy that Jericho didn't use the power drill and then he kicked out at 2. That's all I'm happy about.
Well. We got hockey pucks slamming on hockey pucks. There was a mirror that was broken in between two steel chairs with an air raid crash. A terrible spot through a barbed wire table where Ciampa's foot got caught on the ring apron. He could have just fucking he could have been out for 9 months instantly, right there. So thankfully he's all right. And the match ended with a Judas effect with a thumbtack glove, and then the drill, obviously. Like Jason said, to the head, and the referee immediately called for the bell. That was it. It is what it is. More AEW blood and plunder. Typical pay-per-view. Mark Davis and Andrade National Championship match. This match went, according to Cage Match, 16 minutes and 13 seconds. I expected this to go at least 20. It didn't. Thank God it didn't. Andrade wins the title as the new national champion. I know Jason is very, very heartbroken that his guy, Mark Davis, lost the belt. Now he may have to go back and team with Jake Doyle. This is the right move, number one. I thought what they did was good, but again, Jason, just like everything else we talked about, this didn't really have a lot of heat coming into it.
Yeah, they're trying to tell this story where Andrade is running through the different members of the Callis family one by one. Davis was next in line, and his goal is to still win the world championship. Obviously, that's not going to be happening for a while. He's got the national title now. And look, I've enjoyed the hell out of what Andrade's done since he came back to the company. he's having a hell of a run for himself. And Mark Davis, I would like to see him continue doing single stuff. My guess would be he probably slides back into the tag team picture. But he was kind of a revelation for me this year, where I did not expect him to get a singles push, and he took advantage of the opportunity that was given to him, and he went out there and he's had some killer matches this year. So hopefully we get to see more.
So far through the year, is Mark Davis your breakout star of the year?
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's not my breakout star, he's definitely like top 3 on the list.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think you got to put Kevin Knight on that list too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't want to just say it's Mark Davis and number 1, but he's up there.
Andrade is doing some great stuff. I don't know if the plan is, because he's got the Dynamite Diamond Ring, to do Andrade and MJF in Mexico. Do we see MJF come back to television? I mean, they don't got much time to build that match. If he was to come back this week, that would be the week to do it.
Yeah, no, I that doesn't feel like it's going to happen.
I don't know. We'll see. Andrade versus MJF at All In. Is that the plan?
Could be. I wouldn't see the point. Look, if MJF wanted the match with Kenny bumped up to beach break because he was beat up and he needed time off to heal up from injuries or the leg or whatever, we just had the pay-per-view on Sunday. Grand Slam Mexico, that's next week.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at this and I'm saying, okay, if it was injury related, why would you keep him off this show and take away the main event that you had originally planned if all you're going to do is bring him back, let's say on Dynamite this week, to promote him for a match on next week's show? What sense would that make?
It makes no sense.
Right. So I'm not sure why you even brought that up, because it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, does anything this place does make sense? Not really.
Honestly, I'm struggling every week in wrestling in general to figure out, like, is there anything that truly makes sense these days?
No.
Or am I the crazy one?
No, you're not crazy.
Maybe we're losing our minds and everything else is normal and we're just losing it. I don't know.
No, we are of a sane mind. Our heads are on straight for sure. Andrade wins. We'll see what happens with him going into Wembley, but he does have the Dynamite Diamond Ring still in his possession. Willow, she won a gauntlet match at Beach Break. 8-woman gauntlet match. Not very good. She won the opportunity to wrestle Tekla here for the AEW Women's World Championship. The discussion that Jesse and I had is the same discussion that we've had for many weeks now. I think Jason and I kind of are in the same boat as well. We don't think that Willow was injured and she got pulled from the tournament because they've wanted to find a way to take the TBS title off of her without actually having to beat her.
Well, so that's not what I originally thought. And then seeing the way things played out, I was like, it's kind of convenient the way it all worked out.
Yeah.
But then on the scrum, I don't know if you saw what she had to say about her injury on the post show.
No, I didn't watch the scrum.
So she spoke on the post show about the injury. Apparently it was an AC sprain in her shoulder, which she's had in her other shoulder before. And AC sprains are such that you could be out for a few weeks or you could be out for 9 months. It's very, very iffy. It all depends on the severity of it and the individual. So she was talking about it in great detail, like there was an AC injury and they thought maybe she was going to be out longer than she was, and she was able to recover and come back quicker. So I will take her at her word that it was a legitimate injury and she was able to make it back earlier. And if that's the case, then I stand by what I originally thought, which is that she was going to win the Owen.
Yeah.
And she was going to go to Wembley and she was going to wrestle probably Tekla and win the championship on that show. Because when this match was over, and Mercedes was there. Mercedes was up in her skybox and they were kind of staring each other down. And I'm looking at my live chat and everyone's like, oh, why would you put the title on Willow just for her to be a transitional champion? As I sit here right now, I don't think she is going to be a transitional champion. Because I'm not of the belief that she's going to lose in London.
I am 50-50. I could see that I could see you being correct. I just don't know why you bring Mercedes and have her win the Owen. Like you mentioned, I think last week or the week before that, have her win the Owen, and then she won the Owen the first time, lost, and then going to win the Owen again and lose again.
Well, but again, if Willow was hurt, this is what Tony felt like the plan B had to be. Otherwise, she was never going to win the Owen. Mercedes may still be out right now. She may not have even come back.
Yeah.
At least not as early as she did. So, again, going by what Willow said, if it was a legitimate injury and she was never supposed to be bounced out of the tournament, she was probably going to win. And Mercedes was not going to be in there in the first place, right? Probably. So they may arrive at the same exact place that they were going to get to anyway, where they want to get the belt on Willow. She got it a little early, and now she'll be able to run with it. The only thing about that is, again, you have a situation like that. Mercedes wins the Owen 2 years in a row and loses 2 years in a row. But that's kind of how I'm feeling as I sit here right now. I mean, they could change my mind in 5 weeks, depending on how things play out on TV. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion at all that Mercedes is winning that belt.
Well, at least it casts some unpredictability, which this product certainly needs. I don't mind Willow becoming the champion. I feel bad for Tekla, and I feel the same way I did about MJF. MJF carried the company on his back all year. He should be the guy and ultimately deserves it more to walk in as champion. Same thing with Tekla. In the absence of Toni Storm and Mercedes, Tony tasked her with leading the division. She's become a better performer for it. She's gotten to grow as champion and grow as a character on the show. She's done a lot in their absence, and I think she deserved to go into Wembley as champion. Now, I have no problem with Willow winning the championship, and I'm a big fan of Willow. The thing is, Jason, I feel like this came off the same way. If you remember Chris Statlander winning the title from Toni Storm, very unceremonious. There was no story going into it. Same thing with Willow here. There's no story coming into it, really. She won a gauntlet match and got the match with Tekla. There's no tension between Tekla and Willow Nightingale. She wins, and then the fanfare for it was just very kind of blah. It was just something that happened. She puts the title in the backpack. She points to Mercedes in the skybox and then walks away with the title in her JanSport backpack with the conglomeration. I just felt like it was the same thing, rinse and repeat, that they did to Statlander. So did it come off feeling ceremonious? I saw a lot of people saying that this should actually main event it if that was the ending that we were going to get. And I don't really disagree with those people, but
no, to main event this pay-per-view,
I think a lot of people were kind of making a fuss about the women getting finally an AEW main event, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they want that now, but
no, look, you see the angle they shot right at the end of the show.
Yeah,
that's what should have ended the show. So the way I look at it is, when you have a match, when you have a pay-per-view that should close the show, you close the show with it. And it didn't make any sense for this to close the show with it, given the angle they did at the very end, because the main story was the whole Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Death Riders thing. They ended the show the way they should have ended the show. So I didn't see that opinion, but if that's what people were saying, then I disagree 100%. Eventually, there will come a time where I'm sure there'll be a women's match that makes sense to close the show. This was not it. I was not a big fan of her winning with a friggin' backslide. I know she's won some other matches with a backslide. That was also very anticlimactic to me. Another fucking flash pin. We had that in the TBS title match. I felt like the Mercedes match with Willow at New Year's Smash felt like a bigger deal. When Willow beat her to win the TBS title,
yeah,
that just felt like a bigger deal to me than her winning the world title here. So that was my issue with the way it came off. It did not come off as major as it would have. And if it was the injury that kind of fucked everything up, whereas she would have won the belt at Wembley, then that's too bad, because that would have been a bigger moment.
Yeah, I just feel there was no story coming into it. There was no fanfare. And I mean, they highlighted on commentary, like, she's won the tag team championship. She's won the TBS championships. Now she's the women's champion, the first woman in AEW history to hold all three championships. I just feel like it deserved a little bit more, and we didn't get that, but this is what they typically do. Now we're looking at Willow and Mercedes. So Tony is not doing MJF and Ospreay. He's not doing Tekla and Mercedes. He's going two completely different directions. He's going Kenny and Ospreay, and he's going Mercedes and Willow.
Mercedes and Willow is the right choice.
I don't
disagree. Like, Tekla's done great work, and she's kind of been a revelation this year in AEW. The stronger match is, even though they've wrestled before, is Willow and Mercedes.
Yeah.
So I think that's the right choice as far as the women's title goes.
And then the main event, Kevin Knight and Kenny Omega. This ended the show on Sunday night, 25 minutes to be exact. These two went in the main event. Kenny Omega obviously won. There's nobody watching the show that thought Kevin Knight would win. It was audibly just in-your-face silent when Kevin Knight came out. Not much of a reaction when he made his entrance.
Well, he had new music. So
was that why? I was wondering what was different.
I think so. I didn't recognize at first what the music was, and so maybe people heard the music and felt the same way. I'm pretty sure that was new music that he never came out to before.
Well, this match went 25 minutes. Again, we're not going to go over everything here, just the ending. Very good stuff here. I think Kevin Knight is going to eventually be that guy that you can slot into the main event. I don't really see the points because I know we all heard the reports from SAP and coming off Fightful Select that MJF was a major driving creative force in this match taking place, and he wanted the TNT champion of all people to battle the AEW champion at this show, which, I mean, Jesse and I laughed at this on Sunday, asking the age-old question of why. Why the TNT champion? Are we all of a sudden now in the mood to build up the TNT championship to a point where it's never been built up before? Like, I don't really understand what that means. Is MJF booking the show? Is he an executive that we don't know about? Like, I mean, what did you make of that report? Did you read that report?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what the logic was behind it, because if the report is to be believed, it had nothing to do with Kevin Knight. It was just he wanted to see, or suggested that the TNT champion, whoever that person may be, get that spot. So I don't know why he suddenly has an affinity for the TNT championship, but okay. I don't. We've been down this road before. We had this at All Out last year. It's not something that I would have done, but the moment they decided to go with a different main event, if Okada wasn't available, what did Tony do here? He wanted to take somebody younger and somebody who's newer than that and put them in a position to go out there and have a big pay-per-view main event. Like, I can understand if that was the idea, I can understand wanting to put a spotlight on somebody new in that situation. But again, you kind of took the wind out of the sails because you lost that like marquee main event on this show that I feel like the entire show was originally supposed to be built around.
Let me ask. Maybe I think differently. I get what they're trying to do. They did the same thing with Kyle Fletcher last year, going into All Out with Adam Page, and he said the same thing to Kyle Fletcher as Kenny said to Kevin Knight here in the build-up. I don't get it. I think they just do things for the sake of doing it, and they really are finding themselves in a place where they necessarily they have to build up new talent. The thing with Kevin Knight is, what is the point of building him up to be a main event guy if he's not going to be ready for another 2 or 3 years as a main event guy? What does this match do that we haven't seen him do against MJF or Will Ospreay or Swerve Strickland? What did this match do?
It adds to his resume. He got to go in there and wrestle Kenny Omega for the world title.
All right, but you're going to look back on this 3 years from now when he hopefully is a main event guy?
I think Tony hopes he's a main event guy a lot sooner than 3 years. You say 2 or 3 years. It could be in the next 12 to 18 months. I agree. Like, he's not ready for that spot right now. You're talking 2-3 years from now. I don't think he's thinking 2-3 years from now. I think he's thinking by like 2027 or sometime later next year. Perhaps he'll be ready to be elevated into that spot.
All right, let me ask you this then. After what Fletcher did with Hangman, and it was the same premise, do you look at Kyle Fletcher as a main event guy more so now this year than you did when he wrestled Hangman last year? I don't.
No. I mean, since the Hangman match, that was in September.
Yeah.
No. I look at him pretty much in the same, like on that same tier, I would say that he was in previously.
All right.
But but again, I think that was the mentality last year when he was in the cage match with Ospreay, and then when he put him in the main event with Hangman, it was like, let's give him a chance to go out there and have these banger killer main event level matches, and see how the fans respond and see how he responds to the pressure. I think he passed the test. It doesn't mean that he immediately gets vaulted into the main event picture. He's basically in the same spot he was in a year ago.
We'll see how it all plays out. They definitely need to build some newer main event names. At the end of this match, Kevin Knight lost. Obviously, one-winged angel. Afterwards, Claudio and the rest of the Death Riders, PAC, Garcia, Yuta, all came out and attacked Omega. So they're putting the boots to him. Ospreay's out there. He looked around for Moxley. He tried to save Kenny Omega. So they take Ospreay away, and Yuta told Ospreay to look at him, and he tried to distract him as Claudio went for a stomp. Ospreay noticed and blocked him. cleared the ring of the Death Riders with a chair. So Moxley gets in there, tries to talk to Ospreay. He gently reached over and he took the chair from Ospreay. He's trying to calm him down. They went forehead to forehead. There was some tensions building here. Moxley then pulls out a plastic bag and he tried to talk Ospreay into using it, suffocating Kenny Omega. So he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. Yeah, he was shaking. And then he tore up the bag. He ripped the bag in half. And then he turns and he throws the bag at Moxley. Moxley's angry, and they start fighting. He throws a punch at Jon Moxley. So the Death Riders eventually are all dispatched, and they're taken care of. And Kenny's just sitting in the ring. So after the Death Riders left, Ospreay picked up the AEW title before offering it to Omega. They shook hands. Omega notices the plastic bag. He looks around like, what's going on here? And Omega took the belt, and Omega offered a handshake. They shook hands. They stood on the second rope together. They saluted the fans. Omega comes up from behind Ospreay as the show is about to end, and he delivers a one-winged angel, and he points at the plastic bag, very angry. The Young Bucks ran out, and they try to calm Omega down, and that was the way the show went off the air, with Kenny Omega just being, I guess, upset that Ospreay lingered on the decision. Do I suffocate him or do I not suffocate him? What did you make of this ending, Jason? I thought it was a little overdone.
I'm just very happy that we have finally some real tension between these two. It is ridiculous if you think about the fact that Omega was down the entire time and he didn't see any of this. So when he finally got up, what did he see? He saw remnants of a plastic bag on the mat. But he didn't. I don't think he actually ever saw Will Ospreay with the bag in his hand.
That was my point. Like, why would he think Ospreay would do that and not Moxley?
Right. So it's like, if he didn't actually see it, and I'm pretty sure he didn't, it didn't really, that didn't pass the smell test. That was a bit much.
Yeah.
But I like the idea, like what they were going for. I understand it. And if it gets us to a place where now we have some real heat between these two, thank God, because I couldn't stomach another 2 or 3 weeks of this I respect you, I love you stuff, right? You had to find a way to heat it. I mean, look, we're going to talk about this in a little bit. Like, there's a lot of similarities between what we're seeing with Cody and Punk. And it's like they respect each other and they're friends. And so what was it? It was the belt strap, accidentally hitting Cody in the eye. And that was what instigated everything that has now happened between them. They got to come up with something. At least here, it became clear why, like, the Death Rider stuff actually has led to something. I said Jon Moxley is going to end up playing a very important role in the eventual, like, split, the rift between Omega and Ospreay. And we saw it. Now, I didn't expect, Ospreay to leave the Death Riders on this show. I thought maybe they would save it for TV. Instead, they shot the angle here on the pay-per-view. But at least now we're finally moving on to whatever the next phase of this story is going to be.
Yeah, I was a little confused as well why they didn't play this out on TV. We talked about this on Sunday when Jesse and I talked about it. He brought up a good point. He's like, I would rather see this stuff play out on TV because it gives me a cliffhanger going to the next week's television. Now, I understand.
Yes. And also, we've talked about how so many times these post-pay-per-view Dynamites are just dead and nothing happens. And so here you have this major angle that you could have shot at the end of the show tomorrow night. And like Jesse said, like, leave it as a cliffhanger heading into your big Arena Mexico show the following Wednesday.
Yeah, 100%. What I think their mentality is, and I know there's going to be a lot of new talent coming on in with these people that just became free agents. I think Tony is doing the angles on the shows, and he's going to save the big returns or the big debuts for Dynamite and try to create buzz. Because I think there was a report going around that they're really trying to put an emphasis on getting the rating up for obvious reasons. So I think that's what the mentality is there. I could be wrong, but I think he's going to save a lot of these debuts and incoming talents for Dynamite and Collision. So that was the way things left off with Ospreay and Omega. Jason is correct. I'm glad that there's at least some tension here. Do we see Kenny Omega playing slightly of a heel character going into Wembley Stadium? Is that what you're getting here as well, or no?
I don't know if I'd call it heel. I mean, there may be more of an edge to him.
Yeah.
Some people were like, "Oh my God, Omega went heel." Like, no, he didn't.
No, maybe for the Wembley match.
Well, but I'm saying, like, after what happened on Sunday, after he dropped him with the one-winged angel, I think Kenny looked over at the doctor and said, "Hey, come on in here and check on him." Like, it wasn't a heel turn. It was just one of those things where he got very upset because he thought Ospreay was going to suffocate him to death. So he took great offense to this. And I don't know if they're going to lean heavily one way or the other as far as this guy's going to play heel or that guy's going to play heel. There may be more of an attitude or more of an edge to Kenny. I don't know if I would go so far as to say he'll be playing heel. He may walk into Wembley and the fans may, kind of choose Ospreay over him. I mean, that may happen, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would say he's going to be more of the heel in this. It would be nice to get Kenny Omega with more of an edge. Honestly, it kind of reminded me a little bit when he was standing there posing with the Bucks over Ospreay's body. It reminded me of Kenny when he was champion the first time.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be a great match. I'm not completely invested yet, and Redemption didn't really do anything to get my my excitement levels up for All In, but they got television on Wednesday tomorrow night. These shows are notoriously not good. Hopefully they got a plan. Hopefully they got a storyline. Hopefully we get some tensions and some excitement going into Wembley Stadium.
Well, do we have any matches or anything announced yet for the show tomorrow?
I haven't checked. Let's see. AEW Dynamite preview. Let's see what the Google machine has to say.
Have they announced anything for this show?
I don't see anything. Tony Khan notoriously waits until the day of to announce everything, which I don't know why he does that. He feels like there's more engagement the day of.
He may be writing the show the day of.
He may be writing. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. No, there's nothing. I don't find anything here. So we have nothing announced for Dynamite tomorrow. Keep an eye on it. Busted Open. Speaking of AEW, there will be no more AEW talk on Busted Open Radio. WWE. I'm sorry, you wanted to say something?
I was just going to say, what great timing, too, that they timed the launch of WWE Radio the morning after an AEW pay-per-view.
Yes.
So there was no discussion whatsoever about Redemption.
I'm sure they lost copious amounts of sleep not covering Redemption. I'm sure they all gave quite the shit, right? I don't think so. On July 23rd, something happened that really should concern a lot of fans and a lot of wrestling content creators. The unfiltered coverage of pro wrestling just took a turn, and I honestly think it's for the worst. WWE and SiriusXM announced the launch of WWE Radio, brand new 24/7 channel launching on Monday, July 27th this week on channel 156 that was previously Pro Wrestling Nation. The new channel will feature live play-by-play coverage of WWE premium live events starting with SummerSlam, daily programming, and podcasts hosted by WWE superstars including Cody Rhodes, Stephanie McMahon, and The Undertaker. This also includes Busted Open Radio 5 days a week. Now, what the press release was careful not to lead with is that the announcement is Pro Wrestling Nation is gone. Busted Open Radio, the longest running and most listened to professional wrestling show in North America, is now a WWE property. Now, for 2 decades, Busted Open Radio represented something genuinely rare in pro wrestling media, a daily platform accessible to millions of SiriusXM subscribers, where the conversation about pro wrestling could happen openly, critically, and independently of the very companies being discussed. Now, Dave LaGreca, he's been very vocal about where he started, built something from the ground up, and it became the gold standard for pro wrestling talk. Bully Ray, Mark Henry, Tommy Dreamer, Nick Nemeth, and others were brought in to give credibility, passion, and an insider perspective to a show that felt at its best like an honest conversation between people who genuinely love the business. Were they always critical? No. They were always right? No. But the important thing was that the platform existed outside the walls of WWE, and the potential for honest coverage was always there, even if it was not always exercised, Jason. And now that potential is gone because a lot of people are understanding of the fact that it's not going to be the same. And Dave, he went on social media and he went on YouTube, and I never seen the volatile environment of a comment section like these 2 comment sections on Twitter and on YouTube, where he said nothing was going to change. And I don't know why he said that personally. I have all the respect in the world for Dave, but him to go out there and say that nothing was going to change and then not cover anything but WWE related products. I mean, that's a big change. So I'll let you start here. I know we're both content creators in the space, and we've both been doing this. You've been doing this twice as long as I have, and as long as anybody in the space. What do you make of this, and what does this mean for not only us as creators, how important it is for us for creators, but what does this mean for pro wrestling media?
Well, I mean, if you look at it from WWE's perspective, this is a win-win situation for them. because they get to take over this entire channel, which was already established on, Sirius XM, and broadcast their content now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's nothing but, positive vibes for them going forward. For the Busted Open crew and the people who work there, or for Sirius, I can understand, from Sirius's perspective, why they would want to do this. I don't think that this was a situation where Dave LaGreca was going to have final voting power in what happened here. So, for example, if he was against the idea, and I don't know, I haven't spoken to him, but let's just say hypothetically he was, I don't think Sirius XM would have been like, well, okay, Dave doesn't want to do it, so we're not going to do it. Like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. But obviously he's getting a lot of flack. As you mentioned, he made that comment in that video that, nothing is changing. It's going to be the same, And I don't know why he said that. Bully Ray also was answering people on social media, and he was kind of alluding to the same thing. It is going to change. And that there are going to be certain lines that you cannot cross. There's going to be certain things that you cannot talk about. And so I don't know why they would have said anything in the first place. I think that was stupid, and they brought at least some of that on themselves for making that comment. Obviously, I've said that. I don't know about you. I've said this on my end. I don't even have a Sirius XM subscription. So I was not a regular listener of Busted Open Radio. I have read what other people have said who are regular listeners, and many of them were very upset. Many of them have said, I'm canceling my subscription. I've listened to Busted Open since day one, and I'm not going to do it anymore if it's just going to be WWE slop, and they're not going to cover anything else, and they're going to be, afraid maybe to call out certain things. Time will tell on that. Time will tell as time goes on. We'll know, because when there's some really bad stuff that happens, and I mean, God knows Dave LaGreca, his rants have gone viral sometimes. I mean, him in the bathrobe ranting about The Rock, WrestleMania last year.
He was in Vegas. He was basically telling everybody to fuck you. Legitimately telling The Rock, fuck you.
Yes. And I think he later on, the Rock actually, he met The Rock,
yes.
I think, and The Rock mentioned the bathrobe or whatever. So it's not like, and Dave seems like a very passionate, very opinionated guy. And he'll continue to have his opinions. The question is, as time goes on, will he be able to voice those opinions in the same way on his show? And the answer is probably going to be no. Or if he does, I could see where it's going to become an issue at some point. And if it becomes an issue, then Dave LaGreca ain't going to be on Busted Open no more. Because this is now Radio WWE. This is WWE Radio. They have attached their name to it. It's theirs, right? Whether they're licensing it out or whatever the case may be. And you're not going to get coverage of wrestling promotions that are not friendly or in business with WWE. And that includes AEW. And we saw Thunder Rosa. Now, Thunder Rosa, she apparently hadn't really been on the show in a while, or her appearances were very few.
She made one or two appearances over the last 4 months, I think.
Okay, so she wasn't on the show as frequently, but still, she worked, right, for Busted Open. She was the occasional host or co-host on Busted Open. And they effectively let her go. I mean, that's basically what happened here. And she posted a farewell message on social media. She was, I think, part of the show for like 4 years. Your partner on Tuesday mornings, Jonathan Coachman, he had a show also, and he was a presence on that channel. And he was told recently that he would no longer be a part of it, which kind of came out of nowhere and was a little curious. And now, of course, it seems like we know why. And that is what you would expect in a situation like this. Voices or people that they do not like, or that do not in some way kind of contribute or benefit them in some way, are not going to be a part of this. And they're not going to talk about CMLL. They're not going to talk about AEW. Now, did they talk CMLL much before? Probably not. But that's off the table now. And so you have people who were subscribed to Busted Open. Even if like the AEW discussion any given week was like 10% of the show, right? They would still talk about it. And I think what upsets people are two things. Number one, them no longer being able to talk about it, even if just for 10 minutes, really rubs people the wrong way. And also, if this was WWE coming in with a brand new channel, Sirius was going to give them, like, this is channel 156, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's on channel 157. Let's say it's empty. We're going to give WWE channel 157. and that's going to be WWE Radio, I don't think people would be nearly as upset.
No.
What upsets people is the fact that they had a pro wrestling channel that has been wiped out. They have invaded the channel. They have taken it over. It is no longer a pro wrestling channel. It is a WWE channel. That's where a lot of people are upset. And they have every right to be upset about that. Some people are like, oh, well, I'll bet most of the people complaining, weren't even fans of the show, or they don't even listen to the show. But you're completely missing the point, right? There's a larger issue going on here, which is that when WWE takes something over like they did here, you're not going to have the freedom to voice your opinions or talk about things in the way that you were doing before. The benefit in it for people like you and me is that you may have some people who are like, all right, I'm not going to listen to this anymore. I'm going to go see where I can find wrestling discussions somewhere else. And maybe we pick up some new fans. Because one thing that you and I don't have to worry about is that we're not afraid to speak our minds and say what's on our mind.
No, and I think that's actually worked out to be our benefit this week. I saw a huge increase in subscribers, and I know you just hit 93,000. So
I did, yeah. I just passed 93,000 on our way to 93,100. So there are going to be content creators who will benefit from this because it's going to chase some people away. What I think WWE is banking on here, because I truly don't think they give a shit, they're banking on the fact that, okay, sure, maybe there are some people who are going to put their money where their mouth is and they're going to unsubscribe. They're willing to bet that more people who are like WWE only or casual WWE fans are going to replace them, and that there'll be more of those people than there were people who wanted to hear about AEW. And they're probably right. But the whole situation sucks because of what it means, right? You cannot truly be independent on something called WWE Radio and give your honest thoughts about the product at a time when the product is pretty damn bad. So now what does that mean? What does that mean? People were sending that clip around about Tommy Dreamer earlier when he was talking about the Danhausen segment.
Tommy Dreamer says he enjoyed the Danhausen and Joe Hendry segment and he called it very good.
And maybe he genuinely did, and maybe that's why he's no longer working in TNA, right? Maybe so. Or maybe he is just saying what he thinks he needs to say because this is now his gig, and he works for Busted Open, ergo he works for WWE Radio. So now you've got to be very careful with what you say, the segments, the things they cover. They're going to get access to all kinds of talent now, and they may be in Minneapolis this weekend for SummerSlam, and they could do on-location shows. Again, I understand all the perks and all the benefits of working for WWE Radio, right? That's incredible. But it's also understandable why so many people would be upset and would be revolted by the entire thing because they don't want to just hear about WWE at a time when WWE isn't even all that great. They don't want to hear about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, how great WWE is. That's why people are upset. And they have every right to be. And one more thing. For the people who, and I'm sure Dave is getting all kinds of comments. You sold out. You sold out. Busted Open sold out. Yes. They literally sold out. That's exactly what happened here. But they, being the powers that be, they made that choice because they decided that it's better to be in bed with WWE than to be on the outside and not be in business with WWE. They've been friendly with WWE now for years. This just sort of consummated things and made things official. This kind of put the official stamp on it. But let's not pretend it hasn't been that way for a while now.
No, it has been that way for a while. Predominantly, most of the content has been 90% WWE. So they just made it official and just kind of pushed it over the line to get it to the 100%. Listen, Dave has been with Sirius for over 20 years. He's grandfathered in there. I'm sure he sits at the meetings. He says what he has to say, and then Sirius, suit and ties, go and make the decision. This was a serious decision. It wasn't a Dave decision. I trust Dave with what he wants to do. It's his baby. He's not going to let it die. He's not going to see it wither away. He's going to do what he has to do for what's best for the show. Now, today I heard that he ranted on the Joe Hendry and Danhausen segment, and apparently he had a very spirited rant, which is great. Is that spirited rant going to be the same way 6 months from now, 12 months from now, like Jason said? No, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. When WWE gets what they want, they let it be for a little bit until they can't control the narrative. And then when they see it getting out of line, we're going to control this. We're going to kind of filter what we don't want in here and take this out and take that out. That can't be said. This can't be said. So the whole community-wide outrage is is warranted because WWE usually fucks things up. Now, as far as Dave and the whole AEW discussion, and they're not talking pro wrestling anymore. Listen, I don't listen to everything Busted Open does. I have a SiriusXM subscription with a Dark Horse, and I just let it override and lapse, and it's still there. Like, I don't even use it. It just kind of comes out of my debit card. I have it predominantly because when I want something to listen to that's not music, I just throw them on. I don't know how much other pro wrestling talk was being discussed there, but I would assume they weren't really talking much about CMLL, like you mentioned, or New Japan, or AEW. So the outrage was a little comical to me. Like, oh, they're not covering AEW anymore. And I see people even today, they didn't cover Redemption. Dipshit, it's WWE Radio. Why would you expect them to cover AEW? I don't even think these people, Jason, were even listening. The AEW sickos that are complaining about this weren't even listening to Busted Open. You mean to tell me that these people were listening to a 90% predominantly owned WWE discussion and waiting for the 5 or 10 minutes that they actually talked about AEW? I don't think they were even listening to begin with. And if I was in Dave LaGreca's shoes and I had to make a decision hindering on, well, do I go to WWE Radio or do I stay independent and really just kind of cater to the 10 minutes of AEW talk every Wednesday? Like, what decision are you going to make if you're Dave LaGreca? You're going to go with WWE Radio? No?
Yes. No, absolutely. Look, I totally understand. And again, to the point that you just made, this was not like this was a Dave LaGreca decision. No. Okay, I don't buy that for a second. So how much input he had into that, I don't know. But ultimately, the decision was not his to make because this is above his pay grade. I mean, come on now. This is a big deal that Sirius made with WWE. But if you were in his shoes and you were presented with the same, offer, in most cases, most people would probably say yes to that anyway. They made a decision based on business here. You say that the AEW sickos are all upset. I don't think it's just the AEW sickos that are upset. Like, there are just people that don't like the idea of WWE coming in and taking over things. I just talked about this last week, the AJ Styles story, where he made that comment, oh man, I hope WWE acquires a promotion in Japan. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what a dumb thing to say, even though his intentions might have been pure when he said that. But to me, it sets a horrible precedent because then where does it end? Right? Where does it end? If they're in acquisition mode and they're going around, they're taking this over, they're taking that over. So it's this idea that here they're coming and they're taking an established station that was supposedly, for pro wrestling. And they have other shows on there. I mean, they have other hosts, LeBar is on there, Justin LeBar. And I'm sure that there was some discussion about wrestling other than WWE. How much of it? Can I put a percentage on it? I can't. But that's not even the point. People were upset because they were, in some cases, maybe they were paying for a subscription. Maybe they had it on in the background. Maybe they were waiting to see maybe they wanted Dave to roast Redemption yesterday morning, right? That's why I said it's not just the sickos. You're talking about the sickos. There may have been people listening to Busted Open because they wanted to hear them rant about AEW or other wrestling products. And now they don't have that anymore because they're not even allowed to mention it. Everybody has their reasons why this upsets them. Some people are just going to be upset for the sake of being upset. But these are legitimate reasons. What they have done here is they have co-opted the media. In this case, the media being SiriusXM. And so again, that benefits WWE in every conceivable way. It's horrible for everybody else. It's horrible for everybody else. And if you're a Busted Open fan, Busted Open, the way it looks right now, it's going to look very different as time goes on.
Yes, 100%.
The faces that are on the show are likely going to change over time as well. Because you don't think WWE is not over time going to want to have some of their people in there hosting Busted Open or hosting some of these shows. Corey Graves is not going to be hosting one of these fucking shows. Like, Give me a break. We all can see where this is headed. This is the WWE property now.
The problem with Dave is, though, and the problem that existed with Dave is that he only had one direction to go. If he didn't take the WWE radio deal, where would Busted Open live? Would they go and start a whole new YouTube channel? How does Dave pay Nick Nemeth and Mark Henry and Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer? Does all those personalities come along with him? I don't think so. Dave would basically have to start from ground zero again after building this up for the last 20 years. And we know his journey. It's a very admirable one.
Yeah.
He built it from nothing. He built it in 2007. I have a similar story. I got fired from my jewelry position. I was unemployed, and I was on unemployment for 11 months. And I stayed and I I stayed home and I started a YouTube channel playing Call of Duty, and I did the whole wrestling thing, and I eventually switched over to predominantly all pro wrestling. A lot of our stories kind of are similar in that. So you're asking Dave, who's 50 some odd years old, to take his baby, busted open, and go and start a YouTube channel from ground zero. I'm sure he would get 100,000 subscribers within the first 2 or 3 months, and he'd be monetized in 2 weeks. That's not the point. The point is, starting a YouTube channel in 2026 with the way the algorithms are is not the same when Jason and I started a YouTube channel all those years back. It's not the same thing. The engagement's different. The algorithm's different. The analytics are different. Every way you look at YouTube as a creator is different. So Dave is going to be fighting behind the 8 ball before he even starts all over again. So when you talk about AEW content and, he's not talking about AEW content, I guarantee you if they looked at their business metrics and their numbers, the AEW segments did predominantly the lowest numbers of anything that they discussed 7 days a week. And you and I feel that 100% every single week, and I can guarantee you everybody else feels the same way. And if you don't think the numbers are down when we talk AEW because the product sucks and you're blaming us, it's the other way. It's definitely that way. The product is not where it needs to be. Because I can go back in my catalog and I can show you reviews that Jesse and I did for Double or Nothing in 2021, and I'm looking at 90 to 100,000 views on my videos, on my live streams. You know what my Redemption review did on Sunday? Barely did 29,000. I mean, you look at an AEW pay-per-view 4 or 5 years ago, it's doing 3 times that number. Is it me? Or is it the AEW product? So I'm sure Dave LaGreca is probably looking at that the same way and thinking, why am I going to talk and cater to the 10% of AEW people who want me to talk about Redemption and all AEW when it really doesn't bring in anything? And the Sirius XM people are probably looking at it like, all right, it's the lowest rated segment, fucking cut it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm sure that's exactly what they were looking at. But again, you have to also understand why some people are upset. Forget AEW for a second. Like they're upset that, or concerned that the coverage of WWE is going to change as well, because it is a WWE station now.
Like you said, it will 100% will.
Right. And so so it's not just, oh my God, they're not going to cover these other promotions, which again, they weren't covering that much to begin with. That sucks. But it's more like, so when we have a really awful segment on Raw, like you mentioned that Dave went on a little rant, I guess, about the Danhausen thing earlier. Great. But the concern is that when you have more segments like that, if he continues to rant about them and talk about how terrible they are and, is screaming, like a banshee, well, how long is WWE going to tolerate that for and want that on their channel, right? Probably not for very long. So it compromises, in their eyes, it potentially compromises now the integrity, for lack of a better word, of honest opinion about a product that isn't very good.
Yes.
And what you want to have people who are not going to be afraid to go on their show, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Sirius, and say, hey, this was a great show tonight, or if it wasn't, holy shit, this show absolutely sucked. This show was a raging just dumpster fire. And here's why, right? Because it's not enough to just say, oh, this sucked, right? You want analysis, you want discussion, you want people to tell you, well, here's why it sucked. Here's why this didn't make any sense, or here's what I would have done differently, right? And that's honest discussion. You don't have to agree. There were people who loved the Danhausen segment last night. Not a lot of them, but there. Well, forget him for a second. But like, there were people who were like, people, you just have to have fun. Why is it have to take everything so seriously? And I'm like, all I'm saying is, like, objectively, this was bad television. And some people, they just, no, this was great. This was great. This was wildly entertaining. Fine. But there were a lot of people who felt otherwise, right? You want to know that you have the freedom to go on there and address your audience and be honest with them. And the worst thing you could do is put your audience in a position where now they feel like you're being fake, right? And there's nothing fake about someone like Dave LaGreca, right? He seems like someone who wears his heart on his sleeve and speaks from the heart and speaks his mind. But now this entire thing is compromised now. And that's why people are saying, well, I'm going to have to get my wrestling, discussion and analysis from somebody else. I don't want to hear Mark Henry and Bully Ray, glazing a 95% of Monday Night Raw every week, which honestly doesn't sound like great radio to begin with.
No.
Totally understand it. That is very valid criticism. And that's the way it's going to be now. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it's not going to change. It's going to be the same. No, it's not. And they don't believe that. They can say that, but they don't believe that because they know that's not true. That's why people are upset.
That's obviously a great reason to be upset. And if I'm a fan of Busted Open and a subscriber to Sirius, I would be concerned too for what I'm now going to consume on a weekly basis. You don't want it to change. You know, the one positive to come out of this is I like the sports radio aspect of it, the commentary for the PLEs. If you're someone that works the late shift and can't be home to watch these shows, or you work in the day and you can't watch these international shows, they're going to be giving you live feed commentary with Vic Joseph and Booker T. And there's an old school aspect to that I very much enjoy, because I remember just laying in bed in my mom's house, and me and my brother shared a bedroom. We used to turn on WFAN and listen to Gary Cohen and Bob Murphy call the Mets games on WFAN when there was nothing else on the radio. So I like that aspect. And
I was kind of ashamed to admit that it took me a while before I realized that Don LaGreca and Dave LaGreca were related. I don't know why I didn't put that together a long time ago.
I saw a rant from him last year, and I'm like, I said the same thing you said on Crowd today. I'm like, Is he related to Dave?
Yes. I don't know why I never put the two together, but like, again, Don LaGreca has been a voice on sports talk radio in New York now for years and years. You know, he goes on his own rants and stuff. And it was not that long ago that I realized, holy shit, I think Dave is his brother, and sure enough, they're brothers. But Dave's been doing this for a long time. The Busted Open show, I mean, it started in 2009. So, and if it's a long time ago, like these old farts who have been doing these shows for a long time. I started the freaking Sound Off in 2007. So he was able to get his foot in the door and get it on Sirius, which was a huge deal. And what he has built over all this time is very impressive. And I'm sure, again, without knowing him or talking to him, wherever his head is at on everything that's happened over the last several days, it's got to be killing him, you know, to get all the hate that I'm sure he's getting and to get shit on for this. And everyone's putting this on him because, you know, look, a decision was made. I'm sure he knew exactly what kind of blowback he was going to get, but also on some level, he's got to be thinking, okay, what can I say and what am I not supposed to be saying?
Well, I mean, Bully Ray had a smile plastered on his face that you couldn't scrape off today.
Oh my God, I saw that. Did you? So they posted that video, the interview that he did with Seth Rollins. Dude, I've never seen Bully smile that much in my life.
No.
Never.
No.
It looked like something out of a horror movie. Like they had that horror movie Smile that came out not that long ago. You couldn't surgically remove the smile from his face. And he was asking him, so, you know, what do you prefer, the night 1 main event or the night 2 main event? And again, big cheesy smile on his face. Like he knows what he has to do. Yeah, he knows where his bread is buttered. And, you know,
that's not really an adequate question that you want to have people listen to. Like, what type of question is that? Of course you're going to say night 2.
Well, but this is what people were greeted by when they were listening to the show. So this is the trade-off, right? You have access to look, Seth Rollins is in the main event of SummerSlam this
Triple H is on there tomorrow at 11:30 a.m.
Yeah. That should be something. It's what we do.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off. So that's the trade-off you make. You get access to all these big names. You bring in maybe a whole new audience. If you do, it's going to be a very different audience. It's going to be a very different type of show. You know what? The people who don't like it, who listened to Busted Open before, they don't have to listen to it anymore. You got plenty of other options if you want to look somewhere else. And if you're worried that maybe you're not going to get the same kind of like rants or the same kinds of debates that you would have gotten before, you know, we'll see. Give it time and we'll see how it plays out. But like, these people need to know that there are lots of other independent voices who are out there on YouTube and maybe in other platforms as well. There are other places to go if you are concerned about this for your wrestling opinion, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else. I still feel like you get, you know, the best debate here. I don't even think is that even debatable at this point, honestly?
No, I'm going to pat ourselves on the back here.
Yeah.
I mean, what Jason does individually and what I do, I mean, we're two different creators with two different visions, but we all come to the same place. We're never going to fucking steer you guys wrong, ever. Yeah. We're never not going to be honest with you.
And we're very proud of that, but it also, honestly, it makes me appreciate more what we're able to do here, where, when I get ready to sit down and do a show, whether it's live or like the sound off every Sunday, I never sit here and worry like, oh, like, what is it safe for me to say that? Or, oh, I can't talk about that.
I don't think you know. I don't think you know how to be anything else, which is a great thing.
Yeah, there's a freedom to just like not giving a shit.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I feel this way about this, and so I'm going to talk about it. And when I'm done, if it's live, it's out there, and if it's not, right, I edit everything together, I upload it, and there it is. And the one thing you never have to worry about is that like what we're saying and what we're talking about is fake, or it's not our real opinion. Because we sit around here, we watch way too much wrestling to sugarcoat it and be anything other than like honest about what it is that we're watching, because we just see so much of it. It's just second nature. You either you feel this way or you feel that way, and that's it. And you know exactly what you're going to get. And that's the best part about being, independent and not having to worry about answering to somebody else. I'm very grateful for that. It's not lost on me. And I'm just saying that you got plenty of options out there if, that's not a place where you want to get your wrestling discussion from anymore.
Well, who knows what WWE is going to do and who else they're going to bring on to WWE Radio. Clearly, they wanted to control the narrative and kind of steer the criticism to being more positive than it is negative. And what Jason said is correct. I said as much on my video that I uploaded last week. The whole atmosphere in the IWC with genuine criticism it's shrinking day by day, week by week. There's not many of us left. I think a lot of people in the community tend to be fake, where you can come here and you get two guys who legitimately, if you met Jason and I at a bar having drinks, this is the same way we would be sitting with you guys talking wrestling at a real life bar. I feel like that's the great way and the best thing about what we do. A lot of these reactors, they fake for engagement. A lot of these people go out there and just do and say things just to get a reaction. There's a lot of creators in this space that really want to carve out a name for themselves, yet there's no creativity. There's no real genuineness to them. They just follow what everything else or what everybody else is doing that's kind of in now and popular. It's not the way to be. And I feel like if you want to be a content creator in this space now, you got to really kind of identify who you are, what type of content you want to make, and kind of make yourself stand out, which is very difficult to do, which I think Jason and I have, we've gotten in there as far as getting to the YouTube content creation space. We got in there just in time. Now it's difficult as fuck. I mean, I won't even recommend people do it. You can do it and just do it because you love doing it. But if you're looking to grow immediately, like everybody has that mindset, I'm going to grow and I want to 5,000 subscribers and I want to get monetized. Man, it is tough out here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You mentioned the algorithm before, and it's interesting. It made me think of, if you remember, probably 6-7 years ago, early in the agreement when they were doing the Saudi shows and they started doing like the international stuff, they had like Super Showdown in Australia and I used to call the early Saudi show Sweet Saudi Money, Sweet Saudi Money 1, Sweet Saudi Money 2. And I remember doing those reviews, and dude, those videos, those reviews were doing like, I'm not even joking, like 200,000, 300,000 views. And then one day, literally like overnight, it was cut in half.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, like I was looking at myself. I'm like, did I do something wrong here? I'm like, no. But that's a little too coincidental. No. And I'm like, and then I saw other people complaining about it as well. So like there was one simple change to the algorithm, and I don't know why it had such a disproportionate effect on wrestling content, but it was like noticeable across the board. And so when you are on YouTube, one of the downsides or the drawbacks to it is that you're basically a slave to the algorithm. And at any given moment, like the algorithm giveth, the algorithm can take it away. And so to your point, if you're new to this and you don't have a built-in audience, it's tough, because if things change and you're in the process of trying to grow, all of a sudden it kind of knocks you back down to the bottom of the ladder, and it can be very demoralizing. So you really have to like want to do this and put the time in and the effort, and have to have a passion for it, because otherwise it'll beat you down.
It is incredibly demoralizing. Yes. I know a lot of people are concerned about WWE Radio and the fact that honest criticism, genuine criticism may be dead now with Busted Open. We'll see how that transpires. But the other thing is, and this came from Tony Khan himself on the media scrum, and I ask you, Jason, because I think personally I told you in the sound check, I think this is just a fucking terrible move for pro wrestling. Kind of putting all of this toxic positivity in one bubble, and the other side's going to do the same thing. He's already talking about, and the wheels are in motion for an AEW radio podcast network. Now, I don't know what that means, in my honest opinion. I'm going to be upfront with you. Fightful and Dave Meltzer already exist at the AEW radio network.
Is it called AEW Radio or just AEW Podcast Network?
I don't know what he's going to call it, but
the AEW Podcast Network.
Whatever, radio network, podcast network. He's coming up with a place, a destination for all like podcasting and radio and creators to go and talk AEW. Is this a good move for pro wrestling? Is this a good move for Tony Khan to now do what WWE's doing, and including Busted Open, with him doing that with God knows who over there? Because what I look at it as is you're just taking everybody, putting them under one umbrella, and hiding away from the criticism. Do you genuinely think there's going to be any genuine criticism for the AEW product if he has something like that created?
Oh, I would hope not, because if there is, then that's terrible. Yeah, that's what people are worried about, right? It's this kind of stifling of opinions, and if you don't like what's being said, like they could get rid of you or silence you or whatever. So I don't know all the details about like who's going to be involved in this. Like, is this just an AEW thing where they're going to have their own like sort of internal, maybe wrestler hosted podcast, or are they talking about bringing in independent shows to be?
Well, I don't know. The details were very scarce, but what I know personally is the Aubrey Edwards and Will Washington show, the unrestricted show, got canned because the views were low and Tony didn't really like the numbers that they were pulling. RJ City apparently said something on social media this past weekend about him and Tony Schiavone doing a podcast at 6 a.m. in Duluth. I don't know if there was any validity to what he was joking around there with, but apparently he's going to have his own show. They also canned his show on YouTube. So I don't know. I think they're going to be moving a lot of that stuff over to a podcast network or some sort of network for them. It's going to be AEW personnel. I think Thunder Rosa may end up over there doing something because she's no longer Busted Open. But what does it mean for the community? Like, is he going to bring in people in the community and also put them under that umbrella so they can't talk about WWE, which would be a positive in Tony Khan's eyes, which would be a negative for the community, but also the genuine criticism that AEW should be looking at is not going to be heard anymore because it won't exist.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, this is the first I'm even hearing of like what the details are about this. But like, if it was going to be a situation where they were going to have a network of shows, bring in existing shows, and then not let them talk about some stuff that they're currently talking about, yes, of course, that would be terrible. But are we sure that that's what this is? Based on what you're describing to me, it sounds like they're coming up with some like new shows with AEW personalities, which, I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily listen to that, but if that's what they're going to do, I mean, that's fine. But that's very different than if they're going to be on Sirius and take over an existing station and then kick people off and say you can't talk about XYZ. So that would be awful. But I don't know if that's what this is. So
well, we don't know. I mean, Tony didn't really go into detail. He just said that wheels run.
All right, so let's see. Look, if that's what it turns out to be, and they're going to bring in outside shows and there's things they can't talk about, then obviously that's terrible. But I don't know. I don't know what the plans are here. If it's just the podcast network of AEW podcast shows, then okay. WWE has that already with Fanatics and the Fanatics podcasts, and that's fine, right? They have Cody and Undertaker and Stephanie. If it's something like that, then who gives a shit? So let's wait and see, I guess, what the details are and what this looks like.
Yeah, that's the discussion there. I guess we'll give Dave the benefit of the doubt for now. Apparently his rant on Danhausen and Joe Hendry was a very spirited one, like I mentioned. How long that keeps up, we'll see. Like Jason said, I don't think it's going to be long for this world, and I think after 6 months to a year, maybe less than that, I feel like things will really change for Busted Open, and then they really just kind of settle into the WWE ecosystem.
Yeah, and you look no further than Andreas Hale. I mean, if you want to just use another example, where they have this business relationship, which is what it is. They're getting paid billions of dollars by ESPN. And you have this writer who no longer works for ESPN, but when he did, he reviewed that one with WrestlePalooza. He reviewed WrestlePalooza last year, gave it a C grade. Was it C or C minus? I think it was a C. Gave it a C grade, and it turned into like fucking World War III online. And then he didn't, if you'll notice, he wasn't giving out letter grades anymore after that. And then, of course, I went into the whole JBL thing when JBL chimed in on that, and just the beyond idiotic comment that he made about, well, even if you don't believe that it was an A show, you should give it an A letter grade because this is your business partner now, right? That's the mentality.
Yeah.
That's the heart of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And that's how they think. I know JBL's not officially associated with them anymore, but he has what I call WWE brain. And it's like they all share one brain. He worked there for so long. That's the mentality. You don't think there aren't other people there who think the exact same way? Hey, what? We have this guy. He's being a little too honest. We have this brand new pay-per-view that Mark Shapiro loves so much, and he just gave it a C grade. We can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are worried about. Good
old JBL. He learned everything from the Vince McMahon learning tree.
Oh, so. He's his hero.
And he's on AAA, so he's still affiliated with him in some way.
He's his role model.
Yes, absolutely. So that's the Busted Open Talk. We'll monitor that. But again, at the end of the day, good luck to Dave. We wish him nothing but the best. I've had a couple conversations with him. He's always been very respectful and very kind to me. And I hope he kills it. I really hope he sticks to his guns, and I hope nobody touches his baby and he just lets it be the way that it needs to be. That's what I hope.
I mean, he seems like a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Again, you've spoken to him. I haven't. He seems like a good dude, and for him to have built what he did over a period of time like this, I will tell you, it is not an easy thing to do.
No,
it is to be respected, and I'm sure that there was a lot that went into this decision, and here we are, and now it's a brave new world now.
It is. It's a WWE world. We'll see what happens.
Yes, it is. We're just living in it.
Yeah. SummerSlam. We got a big show coming up this weekend.
Oh, man. It just gets better. It gets better and better here. We haven't even talked about SummerSlam yet.
No, we'll breeze through this. We got two nights. We have 12 matches in total, and we're going to go over them in just a second. We'll weave some Monday Night Raw discussion into this, and then we'll get to your super chats. But I want to thank you guys. As far as super chats, you guys are killing it so far. Keep that energy up. I love it. Thank you to the big bombs that we got from Brandon, and we got one from Havili. We got 866 likes. I'd love to see 1,000. We got 3,000 people in here. There's no excuses. 1,000 likes is a minimum. Come on, guys. 1,000 likes, and I feel like we're going to eventually hit over 3,000 with what we're getting into now. SummerSlam. We'll start with night one here, and like I said, we'll weave some Monday Night Raw discussion in here. We'll start with night one. Liv Morgan. She will be defending the Women's World Championship against IYO SKY. IYO won the Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions. Liv Morgan has not had one title defense of her championship. I don't know, Jason, you're more of an analytics guy than I am. Has she broken Jade Cargill's record of not defending the title?
I believe she has. She just passed 100 days without a single title defense since winning the championship at WrestleMania.
Liv Morgan has been more of a cheerleader and a valet to the Judgment Day than she has been a champion. And IYO, I feel like, has just kind of been in this holding pattern because WWE doesn't know what the women should be doing or how to book the women. The Monday Night Raw women's division is in utter shambles right now. SmackDown is a little bit better, but not by much. I'll start there, Jason. What is going on with this women's division? Because I think as of right now, the only women I can think of off the top of my head that have anything to do with this show are the two we saw last night with Raquel and Sol. Roxanne, Liv, and IYO. Becky's out. AJ Lee is out. Stephanie Vicaire is out with injury. Lyra Valkyria hasn't shown face on television since she beat Bayley at Madison Square Garden at Saturday night's main event. And I don't really know who else exists on that roster. What the fuck are we doing over there?
I've been asking myself that question now for a while. And especially Raw, but that really goes for both shows. So it's weird because if you remember months ago, we were talking about the lack of depth and just how terrible things were with the SmackDown women's division. And then it sort of flipped coming out of WrestleMania. The problem is that the SmackDown side isn't all that much stronger, but Raw has just fallen off a cliff in terms of the women's division. So you have your world champion who never defends her title because they didn't have a plan B, right? Stephanie needed time off. She made that, if you watch it on Reel, like she made that comment where she's been going hard for 10 years and she's very beat up. So I don't know if it was like one specific injury per se, but that probably has a lot to do with why we haven't seen her. But they had no plan B, for Liv Morgan. And Rhea Ripley, she got traded from Raw to SmackDown, which she was like the big star in that division. So it's just generally terrible. I mean, again, they're going to have Triple H, you said, on Busted Open tomorrow.
11:30 a.m., yeah.
These are the kinds of questions that I would love for them to ask, you know, as far as like the women's division on both shows, the tag team division on both shows. This is all at his feet. There's a respectful way to ask the question, but it's a valid question.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not expecting these questions to be asked, of course, but I'm just saying these are valid questions that I would love to know, like where his head is at, because everything is just so flat right now. So, for example, if IYO SKY wins the championship, I'm picking IYO, by the way.
Me too.
I would like to see her win. I think she's going to win. But let's say she wins. Do you honestly think things are going to be any different coming out of SummerSlam as far as the title and the division?
No.
I don't have any faith in this.
IYO was the champion last year, wasn't she?
Yes. And
what did they do with her?
Nothing. It was a very similar situation. So I worry about that. All we can focus on is the here and now. I'm going with IYO to win the title here.
I'm going with IYO to win the championship, too. I just got this thing in the back of my mind that I think WWE is hopeful that Rhea Ripley comes back by Crown Jewel. And I think Triple H really wants to get Rhea Ripley and IYO in a Crown Jewel match, wherever that may be taking place.
And as everybody in the chat is accurately pointing out, she's still cursed by Danhausen.
She is.
The curse has not been lifted.
And just I seen some people claiming that JD Lyra was on the show, you just didn't see it was in the commercial. Why the fuck is it in the commercial?
No. Lyra was on the show last night, but they like during the what match was it? It was the the Raquel match. I believe they cut to show her watching it backstage.
I must have gotten up and made myself something to drink. I didn't see it. Yeah.
So again, she was barely on the show, but she was there. They were teasing like she's got her eyes on the IC title, so she was technically there.
Okay. As far as Raquel and Sol Ruka last night, we'll just briefly mention this. I don't mind Raquel winning the title. I think she's earned it. I think she's done some really good work being in the Judgment Day. She's a lot better than she was before she joined the Judgment Day. My problem is, and I put this out in a tweet last night, what did Sol Ruka do for the Intercontinental Championship? And what did the Intercontinental Championship do for Sol Ruka? My problem, Jason, is WWE has this nasty habit of calling someone up like a Sol Ruka and feeling that they need to put a championship belt on them to validate them in front of the main roster audience. I don't know why that would be the case with Sol Ruka when I feel like her talent really kind of superseded that, and she was already kind of on her way to being very popular and very over. She's done nothing with it. Now she's a failed Intercontinental Champion with only two title defenses under her belt. And what did it exactly accomplish? I feel like WWE just wasted everybody's time with this. How'd you feel about the title change?
I mean, I didn't really have too much of an issue with the title change. Raquel, I think Raquel's been doing good work. I look back at Sol's reign, and I don't really think she gained anything from it. I think Becky wanted to help put her over, and she did, and then Becky went away. And then WWE, after Becky went away, proceeded to do absolutely nothing with Sol Ruka. She defended the title once against Lyra. She defended it once against Raquel. This was her second match with Raquel. And they took it off her. And as we look back at the last 2 months, did it really elevate Sol by putting the belt on her? We sometimes have this discussion where, is it that the title makes the wrestler, or does the wrestler make the title?
The wrestler makes the title.
The wrestler makes the title. But in this case, the wrestler didn't really do anything to make the title, and the title didn't really do anything to make the wrestler. So to me, she's in the exact same spot she was in before she won it from Becky Lynch. So it didn't do anything. But to go back to what we were talking about Triple H and his booking of the women's division, he is not good at booking anything outside of whoever is going after the championship. Can you think of any women's stories that don't currently involve a world title? We were in the process of getting one with Charlotte and Jade, and now they've sort of...
The last one that we got that had any sort of excitement around it or buzz around it was Naomi and Jade Cargill.
Okay. So the most recent one, I guess you would say, was Bayley and Lyra.
Yeah.
That was like the most recent story they tried to tell. Generally speaking, I don't think he does a very good job of really focusing on those non-title kind of mid-card stories with the women.
Why is there such a disconnect from NXT though? Because Sol Ruka was in a months-long program with Zarya.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's like NXT. It's like NXT exists in its own little world, and it's just very different. Shawn Michaels' approach is just very different than Triple, which is kind of weird because they're best friends and they're very similar in many ways, but yet so different. I don't know. I can't explain that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Look, there are people who are getting pushed in NXT and they get called up and they do nothing with them. Why are they called up in the first place if they don't really have any plans for them?
Well, according to Bruce, they're not ready, and I don't know why you call them up if you don't think they're ready for the main roster. I think Sol Ruka could have benefited from maybe another year then in NXT. We didn't need to call her up if this was going to be the result.
Yeah, again, I'm fine with calling her up, but there has to be a purpose there. There has to be a purpose there, dude. Like, that's what it grinds my gears when this happens, because then they just stagnate and it's like, who's really benefiting from this?
No, nobody. Sol will probably disappear.
House shows. They barely do house shows anymore.
She'll disappear, and WWE will bring her back when she's flavor of the month again. That's what's going to happen. EO's going to win. I feel EO needs to win. I think Liv Morgan winning the championship is just a waste of time coming out of WrestleMania. We'll get to the bigger matches here towards the end of this. I'm going to go Bella Twins here. Nikki, Brie, and Paige versus Fatal Influence, JC Jane, Lainey Reed, and Fallon Henley. They are the new tag team champions. They beat Brie and Paige at Saturday night's main event, which was the right move. Then we had Lainey Reed lose on Friday to Brie Bella in a rematch that nobody asked for. Which then Nikki returned and saved her sister and Paige from a beatdown from Fatal Influence, which is why we got this match here. And then I know Jason and I talked about JCJ not qualifying for this ladder match, which I thought was a terrible creative decision. I don't know why, but we can't undo that. I know I heard you talk about this, Jason, on Uncrowned. I'm kind of leaning in the same direction as you. I don't know if they're going to do it, but I don't want to see a Bella Twins heel turn because Nikki Bella already tried that when she feuded with Stephanie Vaquera last year, and that fell flat on its face, and we don't need to go back and redo that.
It just kind of fit. Yeah, how did that heel turn end? It just sort of, I don't know.
Brie showed up in Saudi Arabia, and everybody yes chanted her. That's how that changed.
I see. Yes. Yeah, you know what this is? This is a Team Total Divas is what this
is. It is. I didn't really think of that. But
it is.
But I like your idea, though, of Paige possibly turning heel. I think that may actually benefit her because she's painfully boring.
Well, as a babyface,
yes. As a babyface, yes.
Yeah, there's nothing there. There's nothing there as a babyface. So the idea, the thought process I had behind it was, they're going to lose this match. They should lose this match. My God, if they fucking win this match, I mean, I just think that's horrendous. So this should be a win for Fatal Influence. And the idea is that, and maybe it doesn't have to happen at SummerSlam, but now that Nikki is back, Paige is kind of being pushed out. She's being pushed to the side. And maybe get her on the heel side and maybe even link her up with Fatal Influence. Maybe she becomes the fourth member of Fatal Influence. Right, because the Bellas, I just don't see the Bellas being turned just because I think they want to build the two of them up to win the tag belts together as sisters.
Yeah. So I'm going Fatal Influence as well here. They need to win this. LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys versus the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso. I think we are both in agreement that this has been not very interesting, but I said this last night, and I'm sure Jason said it as well. I didn't listen to his Raw review yet. Solo Sikoa has largely been miscast, and he's been uninteresting because of the people that they surrounded with him, MFTs, Tama Tonga, Tala Tonga, and the great Tonga Loa, who's no longer there. The MFTs were never given a real reason to be on TV. We didn't know anything about them. WWE didn't do anything at all to tell us why we should give a shit about who they are or where they came from or why they're with Solo Sikoa or what their vision is, what their mission statement is. Nothing. They just threw them on TV, put face paint on them, and we were supposed to think that they were some intimidating group. Then they feuded in with the Wyatt Six, and everything just went on for too long, 6 months, and they eventually... over the lantern. Yes, how could I forget about the sacred lantern?
There was a movie trailer that just dropped the other day for something called the Lanterns, right? I think is what it is, and I started having PTSD as soon as I heard the word lanterns. I was like, oh no.
So important, that lantern. And, they ended up releasing the whole group. So the lantern might have been cursed. I don't know. But the MFTs were largely a waste of time. Solo, he leaves the MFT, or I guess I should say the other way around. Tama Tonga and Tall Tonga leave Solo Sikoa. He's left on his own. So now, Jason, we're starting to see Solo kind of feel a little bit free. He's got this just looseness to him. He's just free. He's like unchained. He was on Monday Night Raw wearing this cream-colored suit, very, very rock-ish. And he's out there having a jovial time. He's very charismatic. He's showing his personality. He legitimately, on a terrible, dismal show, was one of the biggest standouts on Monday Night Raw last night. And I'm finally in a position where I'm not there yet, but I have high hopes for what they may be doing with Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, and who knew that all it took was just getting him away from this terrible MFTs nonsense and letting him actually show off his personality and be more like himself.
Shocking.
Who knew? Who knew? And so we got more charisma and personality out of him last night than I think we did in like 6 months plus 9 months, a year of him on SmackDown. I always said, and I've said this on here before, I've said this, where I felt like there was a really great babyface run buried within him. All they needed to do was just let him go out there and be himself.
Hey, you know what that means? You know what this means, right? WWE's going to undo this and have him rejoin the bloodline on Saturday night.
Oh, it's all a swerve. Yes. No, I thought you were going to say they were going to turn him into like Danhausen and just overload him and put him in like 8 segments on every show until I get sick of seeing
that too. I wouldn't be surprised to see that either.
So, yeah, he was getting solo chants. There were some light solo chants in the building in Los Angeles last night. So, yeah, he's been I've been enjoying his stuff a lot more recently, and we'll see. God, I hope they don't just swerve us and throw him into the family stuff. I think that would be terrible. But at the end of the day, they are wrestling the bloodline, and I don't see Jacob and the Usos taking the loss here. So I'm going with them for the win.
Yeah, I'm going, unfortunately, bloodline as well. Jacob Fatu, again, terribly miscast here. I don't know what the fuck are they doing with him. My God.
Well, you know what? That's another issue. You could say that about Jacob Fatu. You could say that about Braun Breaker, Gunther,
Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov.
There's a lot of people at the beginning of this year who you compare where they were then to what they're doing, if anything. What they're doing now, it's bleak. Like, dude, it is bleak.
It's fucking scary.
What are they doing with some of these people?
I don't know. I'm going bloodline. You're looking at what potentially could end up being the War Games match with these 6 individuals right here, and then obviously Roman and whomever else they want to bring in. Maybe it's a new family member. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that going into Houston and Survivor Series. Bloodline for the win here. Gunther and Nick Aldis. Out of everything, I mean, it's easy to take. What are you most interested in? Oba, Femi, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. I think I am interested more so in this match than anything, just based on what Nick Aldis is going to do after 3 years being away. Now, he has signed on for this match and has now, at least temporarily, Jason, relinquished his GM duties. Now, what that means is right now he's not the GM. I don't know if he's going to resume his duties after this match with Gunther. Will SmackDown find a new GM? Will Adam Pearce man both shows? Will we go on a hunt to bring in a new GM? Maybe William Regal as a GM. Maybe AJ Styles as a GM. Who knows? I don't know. I'm interested in this match just based on Nick Aldis because I do think that if there's anybody to be in the ring with here as the first match back in 3 years, it's Gunther. That's the best opponent for him. And I'm a Nick Aldis guy. I like the way he carries himself. I like the way he wrestles. I like the legitimacy that he brings. I think this is going to be a match that is going to not necessarily steal the show, but is going to leave people talking at the end of the weekend.
It's an attraction. It's a special attraction on the show. You have a lot of WWE fans who have never seen Nick Aldis wrestle before.
NWA? What's that?
Yeah, all they know, so like the rap group, like what? So all they know of him is what like Gunther mentioned in that promo last week, where you used to be a wrestler, you're a former NWA World Champion, and now you're washed up and everything. So there's going to be this genuine like curiosity about what he looks like in the ring, and for him, I know this is something that I'm sure he's just been, this is what he wanted to do. He didn't have dreams of coming here to be the general manager. You know what I mean? It's like Jerry Lawler. He was a commentator for them for so many years, and he would do these interviews, and they would go, "Oh, do you enjoy doing commentary?" He's like, "No, I want to wrestle." But yet, look how many years he did commentary for. this is the role they have for him. I assume after SummerSlam, he's going to go right back to the GM role. He's very good in the GM role. I would imagine if this goes well, we'll see him from time to time. You know, when the situation warrants it, he'll get in the ring. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how he looks in there with Gunther. But, dude, anything other than Gunther winning this match, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
You have such high hopes for Triple H, right?
What are we doing here? This can't possibly go any other way, could it?
No, I would assume Gunther has to win, yes.
Okay.
I'm going Gunther with the win. We'll see what happens. Hopefully Nick Aldis brings his best after 3 years against the ring general. Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell. This is the third match between these two. Brock in Minneapolis was the big rumor. How? Why? Now we know why. Obafemi won the King of the Ring. He relinquished his opportunity to challenge for a championship. As StreamYard just came up for Jason, let me say stay in studio, so look out for that. He relinquished his spot in the championship match to wrestle Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. Now, I don't think he will go back to that. They'll probably just put him in the Royal Rumble and just kind of negate the King of the Ring and just get rid of it, and he'll win the Royal Rumble and go challenge Roman in Saudi Arabia, which I'll get to in a second. But as far as this match, Jason, we got in the Intuit Dome the visual of the Hell in a Cell, and there was Triple H there with Adam Pearce and a big scale and Los Angeles Police Department, and I use that term loosely. We got the Hell in a Cell on Monday Night Raw last night for a 14-minute segment that left Oba in the ring, in the cell, and Brock locking the cage from the outside, leaving everybody inside. Now, I feel bad for the production team and the fucking stagehands that have put this thing together for 14 minutes. I don't really like the whole visual of them in the...
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
It might be a stupid question.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just lift the cell?
Well, this is what I heard from the WWE Fed bots on social media. Apparently, Triple H didn't want to ruin his investment and told them to keep the cage lowered, is what I was told.
Yeah, but they invited Brock down to the ring with the idea that he was going to get in the cage. He just opted not to step inside.
I'm only telling you what I was told by the Fedophiles.
This is what I mean when I say that they will defend. It doesn't matter what kind of slop it is. There will always be people willing to defend the indefensible.
Yes. Yes.
And in many cases, just to be contrarian. Like, I'm convinced of it. Like, they know it's stupid, but they're going to just find a way to defend it just to piss people off.
Yes.
It's I wasn't trying to be combative. I'm bringing up what I thought was a valid point. Like, you know, he's got the keys to the door in his teeth, and like Oba's freaking out, and then everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're all locked in the cage." I'm like, "Well, why don't they just lift it?"
Well, don't you think 15,000 in the Intuit Dome when they raised the cage to let everybody out? That's exactly what they thought as well. Well, why didn't they do that 15 minutes ago?
I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. That's like we had a weigh-in. First of all, we had a weigh-in for a match where there's no weight classes, but we have a weigh-in. Okay. And Brock ended up weighing in at 303 or whatever, but he didn't actually weigh in the ring. No. He's like, he already weighed in the back. I'm like, okay. And so you had Heyman just doing the usual Heyman lines, right? The Conqueror, the Beast, undefeated in Hell in a Cell in the 2 matches he's ever had. And repeating a lot of the same stuff that we've already heard him say.
Yes, nothing new.
No.
Do you find it weird that they did a weigh-in for the 3rd match and not the 1st match? I felt like it would have been the other way around, no? Or maybe I'm being a little too picky on that. I mean, a weigh-in.
That doesn't bother me.
Okay,
that was fine. I mean, it was more just like the little things again. Like, why not just lift the cell and just stupid stuff like that? But at the end of the day, like, I get them wanting to do a weigh-in instead of just like a regular contract signing, which I think they already did, right, for the first match.
Yes.
Because you want to have them on the show. We had a ton of vignettes last night. Like, we had a Liv Morgan video. We had an IYO SKY video. We had a Chad Gable video. We had a Penta video. So I could appreciate having them there in the flesh. They would have been better off just putting them in the ring and saying, look, you guys agreed to no physicality. This is your last chance to address the crowd and to address each other and say whatever it is that you guys want to say before your big clash at SummerSlam. And just let them do their thing. I don't even know why Triple H needed to be in there, to be honest with you.
Well, I maybe he wanted to show everybody that he's trying to regrow his hair out.
You know that people in my chat had a theory about this?
What's that?
Let's see if you agree. Their theory is that he's growing his hair out because the bald fraud comments have gotten to him. So
that's actually a sound argument, yes.
If he grows his hair out, you can't call him the bald fraud anymore.
I think the comments are getting to him, honestly. I think everything's getting to him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he can no-sell it all he wants to. Give me they all say, like, oh, social media is a very small, like, niche minority, like, loud vocal minority. Please.
He's probably in bed next to Stephanie. Honey, they're calling me the ball fraud. How do I fix this? I don't know how to fix it.
Dude, he's got fucking burner accounts. Like, give me a break. Like, they all do. Give me a break.
I fucking tweeted at him last night. Like, what the fuck? You think this is good shit? I'm like, I don't know. I directly tweeted his account. He probably don't even manage it, but I just want someone to see it. This match, Hell in a Cell, I thought this was just kind of hokey. I don't like the visual of the Hell in a Cell before the actual Hell in a Cell match because it's the whole mystique of it. Like, they're going to be in there, and they had a show on Monday night just because they had nothing else on the show. No weigh-in, like Jason said. Very same old shit verbiage between Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. Triple H didn't really do anything out there. There was only one of them that was Wade. Oba beats up the police officers again with no repercussions, and Triple H is just standing in the corner like, that's a good job, man. I like the way you handled those guys. It was 6-on-1, man. It's good on you. Yeah. He almost dropped somebody. One of the guys, poor Sol.
Yeah, on the fall from grace attempt. Yeah. I don't know if the guy didn't go up for it. He kind of, after he finally did the move, Oba went over and gave him a nice fucking like punt kick to the ribs.
Oh, man. Now, my question to you is, I think we both understand that Oba needs to win this match. I think we're both going with Oba. As far as Paul Heyman, he's been hyping this up. It's going to be a violent affair. He doesn't want to use the word violence. Now, you would think with these two guys being inside Hell in a Cell that it's going to be a bloody affair. I don't know how physical they are going to be allowed to go. So my question to you is, the last time we saw Hell in a Cell was CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and they had a classic match that really kind of brought you back to the glory days of Hell in a Cell after Vince McMahon ruined the concept and watered it down completely where it was just irrelevant. Are they going to step out of the shadow? Are they going to one-up Drew McIntyre and CM Punk at Bad Blood a couple of years ago? Do you think they top that match?
No. I mean, that was a special match, and it had also been built up over the course of the entire year, dude.
Yes.
I mean, it went back to the injury at the Royal Rumble, and Drew was just the biggest social media troll the whole year. And it culminated, as it should, in Hell in a Cell, and they just had a 5-star match. So I'm not going into this like, oh, man, they had a top Punk and Mac. Like, you can't go into it with that mindset because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. I think it's unfair to them. I've enjoyed the first 2 matches they had. The first one was 4 minutes. The second one was 6 minutes. All I hope in this one is that it doesn't take them longer to lower the fucking cage than the length of the match itself. Like, can we get double digits, please?
It'll be 7.5 minutes for a Hell in a Cell match.
Can we get 10 minutes at least of this match? If anybody bleeds, look, Brock's going to do what Brock wants to do. To his credit, I mean, I know he beat him in the last match, but Brock seems to like Oba, and I'm sure he's going to do the honors for him here. It's the only way that this should end. I could see Brock maybe, getting some blood in this match. I don't know about Oba, but if Brock wants to get color in this match, I mean, who's going to say no to him?
If Brock wants to blade, Brock is going to blade. It doesn't matter.
Only difference is that I feel like this match is going to open up that night of SummerSlam. And are the opening matches on ESPN again?
I think so. I mean, I think Gable and Penta, some people were telling me Gable and Penta is definitely part of that. I don't know for sure, though.
Well, whatever night Gable and Penta are on, that will be in the first hour.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't know if it's opening, but that will be in the first hour. So that might be, like, if they're going to do Brock and Oba on ESPN, maybe they don't want blood. So, but otherwise, like, I wouldn't be shocked if Brock wanted to, to get blood. He got blood in the, Undertaker did. I'm trying to think. The first Hell in a Cell match he had with Taker in 2002, Undertaker bled. The second one they had in 2015. Did anybody bleed in that match?
I don't remember. I want to say Brock bled, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't remember. So it's up to Brock. Brock's going to do what Brock's going to do, and they're not going to say no to him. So we'll find out.
Obafemi for the win, and Brock Lesnar goes away for a little bit. I don't think we see him until WrestleMania season. He's not retiring. So that's what I feel is going to happen there. Okay,
so they're saying that I don't think that they're doing any ESPN matches. Is there another sporting event that weekend? Is that why? Maybe that's why. Maybe there's some sporting event on ESPN that they're airing that weekend, and that's why they can't do it?
I'm not sure. If that's the case and they've gotten rid of that for this, I think that's a welcome addition. I think the 2 matches on ESPN and then only 4 for the actual show is just ridiculous. Optically, it looks terrible. So Oba for the win there against Lesnar. Hell in a Cell. Like I said, I don't think we see Lesnar until WrestleMania again. And then the main event.
This idea that like this is going to be his retirement match or something. No. Like I don't buy any of that.
No, I cannot envision him not being at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. This is the main event of night 1. Some people were shocked to see this main event night 1 and not night 2, but I would have had it the other way around.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
To the 3100 in here and you as well. So I think maybe you and I were on the same page with this. I wanted to see this match at WrestleMania this year.
Me too.
And I felt like, and still feel like, it's one of the biggest matches, outside of Rock and Roman. It's one of the biggest matches they could do, right? Roman Rock, Roman Oba, and then probably this. I'm glad we're getting it here. I was adamant that this was the night 2, like, weekend closing main event. And having seen television over the past week, I was wrong. And I think that they are going with the correct choice to close out the weekend, going with Roman and Seth instead. I was waiting to see what they were going to do in that promo on SmackDown on Friday, because I thought, man, this is going to be the money promo right here, right? They're going to be lobbing bombs at each other. They're going to be going after each other. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It was actually very tame compared to what I thought it would be. And now here we are. We have 1 SmackDown left. They have put a lot more effort into the Roman and Seth stuff with all these little vignettes they've been airing. And they closed out Saturday night's main event with that little angle they did. They had that great face-to-face during the contract signing a couple of weeks ago. Here we are. SummerSlam is this weekend. What feels like the real main event of this weekend? Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. So I understand them doing Cody and Punk on night 1. I was hoping I would feel differently about it, but I think they got it right in terms of what match ended up getting night 2, even though it's a match that honestly I didn't need to see. If it were up to me, we'd be getting Roman and Oba this weekend, but don't ask me. We can have that debate. Roman and Seth, I'm kind of over it, but you can't deny that they have done a better job of making that feel like the big match of the weekend.
Yeah, with all these mini episodic stories that they're telling throughout Monday Night Raw for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
For weeks now. Yeah, for weeks now. But even just in terms of what they've done with them on TV, there's just been more stuff with the 2 of them and more interactions with the 2 of them than we've really had with Cody and Punk. I was underwhelmed by what we got on Friday from that face-to-face.
Yeah, I got some of the promo pulled up here. I was all right with it. It didn't blow me away. I've seen a lot better from both guys, especially them in the ring together. I think the last time they were in the ring together was after WrestleMania, and Punk had the black eye coming out of the Roman match. I thought their promo back and forth there was good on the Raw after Mania. Much better than this. Cody says the locker room is the most talented roster ever assembled in wrestling, and he says hats off to Nick Khan and Triple H. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't sweat any of them except for you. Just you. I don't have a chip on my shoulder anymore. And the moment you come down here and this lovely audience is singing your song and the passion fills this arena, all of a sudden, I do, and it weighs the same amount as that WWE Championship. I could love you. I could respect you. I can tell you I don't like you. For the story to have the proper ending, it's fair to me to say I have to beat you at SummerSlam. So CM Punk goes on to basically tell Cody that he has to make himself the victim. And you have to make everyone else your enemy. Well, if Kevin Owens is your enemy, if Randy Orton is your enemy, if John Cena is your enemy, what does that make me, Cody? That makes me your only friend, because I promised you years ago and that I wasn't going to stab you in the back. I was going to stab you in the front, and that's exactly what I'm going to do at SummerSlam. I'll stop there because that's basically the gist of what they got. Jason, I feel like what we're going to get is a great wrestling match. I think if there's anybody that we should trust here to deliver a great pro wrestling match and really kind of embody a main event for SummerSlam, it's these 2 guys. The only problem I have is right now they're 2 baby faces that are clashing. I much prefer the old school style of a heel and a baby face. And the last time we saw Cody in a main event of SummerSlam, he was going one-on-one with John Cena. And he 100% did, show some heel tendencies in that match with John Cena where he took the title back last year at SummerSlam.
Oh, he did in the match with Orton, too.
He did with Orton, too. The point I'm trying to make is I feel like with Cody, he's very vanilla. He's very bland. I think he's a better chaser than he is as the champion. And everybody talks about, well, who do you replace Cody with if you want him to go a little bit more darker, a little bit more playing that heel? You got him right there in this match with CM Punk. I don't give a shit who you bring to the table. Punk ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So if you want to do it, now is the time to strike. I feel with Punk saying, I'm going to stab you in the front and not in the back, I feel like Cody needs to stab Punk in the back, and I think he needs to play the heel going into this match. And I think we need to start maybe getting a heel Cody, but I doubt WWE is going to go that way.
Yeah, I don't think CM Punk is losing the championship.
No.
I'm going with him to retain. I'm going to go ahead and predict that we get a Cody heel turn. I'm going to say that we get a Cody heel turn. He doesn't win the title. It may be something that happens post-match. You know, they have a competitive match and, you know, Punk wants to shake his hand after or something, and Cody has just finally, you know, had enough of being the nice guy. I don't know exactly how it's going to go down. I just feel like, to your point, if there was a time to do it, I wouldn't have said this 6 months ago. I definitely wouldn't have said this a year ago when The Rock was trying to steal his soul. Now it feels like you could turn Cody, or at least do something different where maybe he's just not this kind of white meat corporate babyface that he's been. Because coming out of SummerSlam, man, if he just keeps doing that, dude, I mean, it's boring.
It's bringing the show down on Friday. There's nowhere else to about it.
Yeah, it's bringing the show down. It's boring. It's uninspired. Now you have a chance to do something a little bit different with Cody Rhodes. I just don't think that they're going to take the belt off Punk yet. They've moved that championship around a few times recently. I think they're going to want to keep it on him for a while. I think we can get both. I think you can keep the belt on him, but also go in a different direction with Cody. And that's maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but that's what I'm thinking we're going to see.
Well, they need something. I feel like that is the best way to go here. Going with Punk as well. No reason to take the belt off him. Cody needs a character change or some subtle change, something that's noticeable. Going into Friday Night SmackDown. So hopefully that is the case. That's night one. They overloaded night one. Night two does not look anywhere close to night one. Though there is a couple of great wrestling matches to be had on night two, which we'll talk about now. Trick Williams, we'll start with this. Trick Williams will defend the United States Championship against Baron Corbin. Why Carmelo Hayes is left out in the dust here and missing WrestleMania and now SummerSlam is a huge question mark for me. They didn't even play this angle out on live television. They saved this for a social media post, which... I ask why. That SmackDown show was deplorable on Friday night, and we got basically a mini women's pay-per-view that nobody asked for. Trick Williams here, Jason, I feel like is going to retain, and I do think Melo's going to have some say in this because he theoretically got fucked over by Baron Corbin on Friday a couple weeks ago.
I think that we're going to have a new United States champion.
Wow, they're going to belt Corbin, huh?
I think they're going to belt Corbin.
Okay. What does that mean for Trick Williams?
Means he's going to be in chase mode.
Okay.
That's what it means.
I didn't expect you to say that, but you may be correct. I don't know. Baron Corbin, his first match back, wins the title, huh?
Okay. I'd rather he win the title in his first match back than lose in his first match back.
Yes.
If they're going to be serious about pushing him and doing something with him on SmackDown, that's what I would do.
Well, he was in that.
Maybe I also feel like the quicker we get rid of the furry belt, the better. And then eventually we know Trick's going to get it back anyway. But if Corbin does win the belt, he can shave it.
Well, yeah, maybe they'll give him his own replica title too. Maybe it'll be black leather, maybe motorcycle-esque. Sell it for $8.99 on WWE Shop. I don't know.
Oh my God! Did you see that new Brock Lesnar belt?
It is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did see it. It's also $7.99, but it looks ugly, honestly.
Oh, it's hideous. Yes, but they're selling it for like $800, and I guarantee you it's going to sell out.
Of course it is. Belt collecting is a huge thing.
The Crown Jewel the Crown Jewel Championship, dude, $2,000 for that belt. I don't know if it ever sold out, but supposedly it was close to selling out.
You fucking fiends out there, you belt collectors. I don't know. I'm going Trick with Melo interfering. I can't see Baron Corbin winning the championship so soon and taking it off Trick. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just glad that Trick is on the show. Melo should be there. It should absolutely be a triple threat match, but Corbin got the one-on-one match here. Sami Zayn, Finn Balor. I'm glad that they got Sami on this card because we were talking about and coming up with ways about how to get him here, and is he really going to miss a 2-night SummerSlam? Clearly not. They had a number one contenders match on SmackDown that included Trick Williams. Why? He's the United States champion. I don't know. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and who else was the other one? Was there somebody else in that match? Who else was there? What did I miss?
In the 4-way?
Yeah.
Well, it was Balor, Trick, Priest.
And Royce Keys, yes.
Yeah.
So basically, everybody CM Punk said he wanted to wrestle as the world's heavyweight champion. Sami Zayn and Finn Balor should be a great match. I don't think that Sami is going to lose here because I think he has more of a right than anybody to get another shot at the championship after the recent situations that we've seen on WWE television. So I think this is a good opponent for him, and I think he ends up getting the win here, Jason. Sami.
Okay. That's precisely the reason why I think he's going to lose.
Really?
I think Finn Balor is going to be the number one contender for the WWE Championship.
Oh, man. Finn Balor and CM Punk again, huh?
Look, dude, Balor had... Well, that was on Raw. This is on SmackDown now. And Balor was a heel then. Now he's a babyface. So it's a little bit different. Look, Balor... Hey, I don't know how long it's going to last. Well, it'll last as long as until he gets a title match, and then he'll lose. But he's actually been winning matches. So Finn Balor is on vacation. He's gone for now. He's on a beach somewhere. He's sunning himself. And we actually have Win Balor. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I kind of like Win Balor. I think Balor is going to get the win on Sunday. Sami, his crusade is going to continue yet again. He gets screwed over. That's kind of his gimmick now. And it also hit me when I was talking about it earlier. Like, this is 10 years to the very event where Balor won the Universal title and fucked up his arm. It was 10 years ago at SummerSlam. And he was never the same because of that injury. It felt like it derailed everything for him.
All right, you sold me. I think Triple H is going to give Balor a moment here. 10 years to the event. There you go, bro. Another championship opportunity for you. All right, we'll go Finn Balor.
Win Balor.
Win Balor is going to get the win here over Sami Zayn. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Chelsea Green, Charlotte Flair. And Friday will determine the last of the entrants here for this 5-way second place interim women's championship match. It's either going to be Julia or Lash Legend. Now, how we got here, JC lost to Tiffany. I don't know why. Tiffany's got her own title, but she's going after the world title. JC should be there. Jade beat Nia in a 1-minute disqualification thanks to Charlotte. Kiana James loses to Chelsea Green in 3 minutes. Charlotte won by DQ after Jade cost Nia again. That was on SmackDown this past Friday. And now Julia and Lash Legend. So we'll start there, Jason. Who's going on to advance, Julia or Lash Legend?
Oh, Lash Legend.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Julia, but I'm a hopeful idiot.
So you're picking Julia.
I'm going Julia, yes.
Okay, so you're picking Julia. I'm picking Lash Legend. I'm picking Lash Legend to win the entire thing. You can laugh. I don't know what's so funny about that. You can laugh all you want to, but...
No. I mean, listen, if that happens,
I'm telling you, that's what I think is going to happen. But here's the really funny part about this whole thing is that Nia Jax, and say what you want to about Nia Jax, I'm not advocating for her to be added to the the ladder match. But if anybody has a case to be made about getting screwed over, it's Nia Jax, because in both of her qualifying matches, somebody interfered and through no fault of her own cost her the chance to go to SummerSlam. And so I love how Adam Pearce's great decision out of this, because when they went backstage and Nia was ranting and raving, she really should have just been inserted into the ladder match, if we're being honest, or at least get one more qualifier. His solution to this was to basically tell her to shut up, and I'm going to put your partner in the qualifying match. How is that fair?
It is not fair.
Okay, so we're in agreement on that. That is not fair at all. I think Lash is going to win if for no other reason. They have one heel in the entire match. I think they need one more, because you got Jade as the only other heel in this match.
So what is your thought process here? If Rhea is going to be back relatively soon and they're crowning an interim champion, they need her. Yes. They need someone for her to beat, and you would rather it be Lash than Charlotte.
I don't. Well, so here's the thing. I think the Charlotte thing is something that they're going to want to save. If you think about it, the original plan was rumored to be Rhea and Alexa Bliss or Rhea and JC Jane. Yeah. Those were the two names that were being rumored. So if that was the case, Rhea was very likely going to go in there and keep her championship, right? So I don't think that they have any interest in going to Rhea and Charlotte yet. I think they're going to want to save that. Charlotte can win the interim belt, and then as soon as Rhea comes back, which might be in the next few weeks, I don't see them wanting to go right into Rhea and Charlotte at what? Like WrestlePalooza?
I was going to say, even at WrestlePalooza, I think they want to build that show up to be a major deal, no?
I mean, they might, but I feel like that's a match they're going to want to hold off on, to where when they do it, maybe Charlotte wins. And I don't think they want Rhea to not be the champion heading into Crown Jewel if they do Crown Jewel in October. So I don't know. I just feel like if they eventually do another match between Charlotte and Rhea, I think there's going to be a very good chance that Charlotte wins. And I don't think they would want Charlotte winning the title now. I really think they want to do Rhea and Io at Crown Jewel.
Me too.
So you got to put her in there with somebody that she can beat. You could do Chelsea Green. I don't see them doing that.
No.
I think Charlotte, you could do Jade, but to me, been there, done that.
Now, that's the worst option. I would rather Lash Legend because it's something different.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
She's got the issue with Charlotte. I don't really see it being Jade, and that leaves Tiffany. Now, Tiffany is a Minnesota girl, but she's the United States champion. What the fuck does she need the interim title for? Are you kidding me?
I mean,
why? So she could call herself Tiffy Two Belts?
Yes. Everybody's two belts. Solomonster two belts. JD two belts.
Yeah. God. Kevin Knight wanted to be Jet two belts. Everybody wants to be two belts.
Oh my God.
No, I think Lash actually makes a lot of sense. This is assuming she gets into the match. Yeah. Now I have to say, if Lash doesn't get into the match, if I'm wrong and you're right and Julia qualifies, I'm picking Jade. I think they would give it to Jade before they would give it to Charlotte.
All right. I like your idea of Lash Legend. I could absolutely see that. I don't want Jade anywhere near the championship personally. I'm going Charlotte. I think Charlotte wins. We get that match at WrestlePalooza. Rhea wins thanks to Jade, and we finally get the one-on-one match with Charlotte and Jade, because this was supposed to be Jade versus Charlotte. So they just kind of consumed this into the ladder match. But I'm going a little bit more of a simplistic way to get there. So I'm going Charlotte, and Jason is going a couple of different directions, but ultimately, Lash, if she's not there, Jade.
Rick Shaw says, like, even Solomonster has two belts behind him on the wall. Solo two belts, yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes, I do.
Penta, Chad Gable, Intercontinental Championship. I guess we'll keep this simple because the story basically goes back to Penta's first match in WWE, which was against Chad Gable, which started him on the crusade to go basically harm Lucha Libre and the traditions of Lucha Libre. He went to go find himself, which gave us El Grande Americano. And we saw him lose the mask to Kaiser Americano. And now Gable's on this crusade to right all the wrongs that he did over the last year and a half. And he's finally going after the one championship that he promised to win for his family and for his fan base. And that is now held by Penta and the IC Championship. Very simplistic, creative here, Jason. Triple H booked the match. That's step one. Now we got to do what we got to do at SummerSlam. Give these guys, don't even look. Throw the fucking script out the window. Sit there next to Bruce. Give these guys 20 minutes. Let them create the best match of the weekend. And Chad Gable wins.
You think they're getting 20 minutes? Are you out of your fucking mind?
No. It'll probably go 10 with an 8-minute commercial break follow.
Lucky if they get 10 to 12.
What I'm saying they should do, give them 20 minutes, give them a match of the night. Gable wins the IC title.
Yes, that's the only acceptable outcome here.
Yes,
you're in Minneapolis. He's in the middle of his redemption arc here. He literally came back and was going around apologizing to people for being mean to them. I mean, if he doesn't win the belt here, it ain't ever going to happen. It's now or never. That's it. End of story. This is the easiest match to predict on the entire show. Outside, I guess, of Oba and Brock. They have one job. I think they'll do it, and I think it'll be a great moment. And then we'll get the visual when it's over of Gable trying to get everybody to
Gable for the win, new Intercontinental Champion. We'll see what happens there. This is the one that I think people want us to hear. Want to hear us rant about. Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio. This will be for $100,000. So Triple H is basically taking a page out of Tony Khan's playbook, a money match. And it will be a human monies on a pole match The winner keeps the money. Now, this all got started because of Danhausen's obsessive cursing of Liv Morgan, and he stole the money that Dominic...
He wasn't the only one cursing last night.
No, he was not. Dominic wanted to pay Danhausen to curse Obafemi in their King of the Ring semifinal match, which he ended up stealing, which is why we are where we are today. The concert last night, which I don't know why it happened or why it was needed or what the purpose of it was, but we got a concert last night, Jason, with Danhausen and Joe Hendry that was one of the most offensive and one of the worst segments on pro wrestling TV all year. It will go down, in my opinion, as one of the worst segments in WWE Raw history. Ryan Garcia, who has been very controversial for some drug abuse and some performance-enhancing drug abuse and some things he said in a Twitter Spaces that I will not reiterate here because it's absolutely deplorable and disgusting. They invited him on the show and gave him television time when I could list about a fucking dozen people on this show that aren't getting television time, period, or may not be on the show, period, on Saturday and Sunday. This segment was so fucking bad that I didn't even review the overall episode of Raw match by match. And I complained legitimately about what is wrong in every aspect about this show. Now, Danhausen is innocent in small doses, but I genuinely feel that Danhausen and his involvement in the show is now actively harming the show, and the show is just as bad as it is, and then do you include this on the show? I ask myself, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I went off so much last night. I said, I'm done with Triple H, and I glazed the fuck out of what he did in NXT, and I'm now starting to even question how much of a hand he had in what we saw in Glory Day NXT Black and Gold. This man, if he got up out of bed and he went to his office and put his little bifocals on, and he's wearing his leather jacket, sitting in his office, and he takes a pen and a paper and writes the greatest storyline of all time, I don't give a fuck if he sits next to Zach Bagans and conjures up Baal, the fucking spirit from the underworld, to come up with a storyline that helps him get this product back to where it needs to be. I don't trust him anymore. I'm done. I am at a point right now where I'm just literally waiting for his removal. That's how fed up I am of what we're seeing on national television from both Monday and Friday. This shit sucks so badly that I never want to see Danhausen on TV ever again. And that may be a little overboard, but I think his involvement in the show is ruining all enjoyment for me from this point on, because WWE just sees money and they're just fucking jamming him down our throat.
You remove him, and who do you think he's going to replace him?
I don't know. Come up with a storyline.
You know who is going to replace him?
Who's going to replace him?
Bruce.
Bruce Pritchard is going to replace?
At least temporarily, sure. The point is, I'm not sure that that's really going to change anything for the better. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve the criticism. No. I'm just saying, when we say things like, get him out of there or demote him or remove him or whatever, it's not as if there's some pot of gold at the end of the rainbow there that's everything's going to be so much better, right? I don't have a lot of faith that if anything, it might get worse. As scary as that is, he may be the one thing between us and a product that somehow is even more celebrity driven and corporate and just, it's just, I agree with everything else. I mean, it's just fucking awful. The Danhausen thing, they do it because Danhausen, he is popular, and I'm sure he's making them a lot of money, but he's everywhere. And he's a comedy act. A comedy act is good in small doses. When you have him on television in just multiple segments, dude, they have a fucking, like a bus.
I saw the ice cream truck.
Did you see?
Yes.
It's terrifying.
Yes.
Like, his face is like on the front of it. If I was like going on a walk and this thing was driving down the street, I would run the opposite way. He's everywhere. And they're going to burn. They have a shining star in this guy that they discovered, and they're going to burn it out. If they haven't already. Apparently with you, they've already burned it out. And I don't disagree with anything you said there. This segment, they thought that this was going to be sports entertainment, and this was going to be funny. And this was their way of, I guess, putting more heat on the Judgment Day, because they were going to come out and they were going to do the big ambush, and it was going to somehow build their match at SummerSlam. What it was concert slop where I swear to you, when the lights were out and we heard the guitar strum, the first thing that popped into my head was, what I was waiting for was, hello, I am Elias. I thought for sure we were going to get it.
Hello, my name is Elijah.
Yeah. Hello, I am Elijah. I'm like, what the fuck? So then the lights come on and Joe Hendry is in the ring. And another week where he gets no entrance on Raw. It's a total rib.
I've noticed. I've started to pick up on this now that you mentioned it.
Yes, total rib at this point. And there's Danhausen playing with his organ. And that might have been more fun than watching this segment. And they do this song. And as I'm watching this, I'm wondering to myself, how is it that when Joe Hendry, when he was on the Ascent, and he was doing the same thing in TNA, where he would come up with these songs on his own, like these were original songs to like heel on his opponents, like AJ Francis and stuff, and he would make fun of his opponents. Like, it was genuinely entertaining.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah, he made music videos.
Why are we not seeing that? Why are we getting these concerts, these lame fucking concerts? The only person who should ever be in concert, by the way, on WWE television is The Rock. And even the last concert The Rock did wasn't very good. Remember that one he did when he was the final boss? That wasn't very good.
It was better than what we're getting now. The last concert they legitimately did was Ricky Saints, and they deleted it off their YouTube page because it was so bad.
Yes. So please, if you're going to do concerts in the future, leave it to The Rock, okay? But I would love to see Joe Hendry doing more of what brought him to the dance and what I found to be truly entertaining, which, like you said, is the music videos. But he's got to be in a program for that to happen. What has been his direction since he was called up to the main roster? I'm actually wondering, why was he called up to the main roster in the first place?
Bro, why did they want him to begin with is my question.
I don't know. Why did they want him to begin with? Dude, why did they get him out of his contract early?
Why did they put him at WrestleMania in an open challenge against Randy Orton as the TNA champion?
Well, because he was the hot thing at the time. People wanted him, and they were probably, they figured, okay, this will get a good pop from the crowd. He was the in thing at the time. That was never going to last.
Is it like buyer's remorse? I mean, did they feel like he's already fucking used goods?
No, I mean, it's very clear to me that he's done. Like, as far as like anybody who had any like hopes of him being involved in the show, the thing is, I don't think anybody ever expected he was going to be a world champion. He's not going to be a world champion.
No.
But even just somebody who is like, again, in the middle of the card, but has his own thing going on. He's feuding with this person. He's feuding with that person. And again, coming up with songs and doing everything he did that brought him all the attention in TNA. And it's like, nope, we're going to go the WWE sports entertainment route. We're going to have him do a concert, and he's going to come up with these songs, and it's not going to lead anywhere. And he's basically going to be treated as a second-class citizen on this show that you are not to take seriously. He doesn't even have a match at SummerSlam, so I'm not sure why we needed the Joe Hendry concert. I mean, it tied into the Danhausen stuff, but even just him being on the show, frankly, this week felt pointless to me because he has nothing to do with SummerSlam unless he's going to get involved in the match. So the entire segment was a misfire. It didn't work. And what I compared it to in my Raw review last night when I was talking about it, it would be like the equivalent of a comedian who's telling a joke, right? They're at a comedy club and the joke doesn't land. It's a terrible joke. Nobody laughs. And instead of just reading the room and ending things and moving on, they just keep going and they're like trying to save the joke, and they're just making it worse as time goes on because they're dying for that reaction, and it's like, dude, just cut bait and move on. The little mini Hausens come in and they're saying, I believe that you are and it's the same lyrics over and over again. There's no real originality to it. And then were those Lakers dancers, they had like LA Lakers dancers come out and they're doing a dance routine outside. And I'm looking at the people in the crowd, by the way, who were just like sitting there. I don't know what they paid for those seats and what must be going through, their head at that moment. I have no idea. I know what was going through my head. There were a lot of thoughts going through my head, as I was sitting here watching this. I was actively thinking, is this the worst television segment of the year? And the answer is yes, on any wrestling show that I've seen. this is where they kind of jump the shark with things, because they feel like, hey, with Danhausen, we can do anything. We could do anything because he's a silly character, so we could have a silly segment, and so we'll have the little mini Hausens, and somebody sat in a room during the week and they had to map this whole thing out, and they said, "Yep, this sounds like a great idea."
All right, this is what I got from the eFed bots on social media. Okay. Now you can blame I blame Triple H.
Was it Clippers? Okay, they're saying Clippers dancers.
Oh, fine. Yeah, I guess that's where they play. Yes, the Clippers. The Clippers into it.
Okay, I said.
So apparently everybody's like, why are you blaming Triple H? This is a TKO move. Well, first of all, everything's gonna be blamed on Triple H because he makes himself the face of the company, and if you're gonna do that, then you need to face the heat in the kitchen. Okay. Now, being that this segment included Ryan Garcia. Was this another heavy-handed move brought down by Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, and the rest of TKO, and forced Triple H to put this guy in this segment and force this guy to do this segment? Or was this segment already in progress without Ryan Garcia, and this is the best place to put Ryan Garcia?
Don't make excuses.
I'm not. I'm telling you what I've heard. I blame Triple H for everything.
I mean, if you wanted this Ryan Garcia character on the show, you didn't have to do a fucking concert, dude. I mean, you could have come up with any. They actively came up with the concert idea.
Yeah.
Right? And so I don't buy into that. And by the way, they had introduced Ryan Garcia earlier in the show because, of course, it's LA. So you have the constant, like, let's take a look at the celebrities in the crowd. And they had a few of them. Ashton Kutcher was there. And they showed Mario Lopez. And they showed O'Shea Jackson Jr. And Fluffy was there. Fucking Gabriel Iglesias.
And the biggest one of all, Jimmy Hart was there.
Jimmy Hart, yes. And he didn't get booed this time. No, like he was the last time that he was at the Intuit Dome. Gee, I wonder why. And so here we had Ryan Garcia. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they identify him as being a Zuffa boxer?
Yes.
Is that what? Okay. See, I am done with this Zuffa boxing shit. Every fucking week with this. Because it's synergy, right? Because they're trying to get this Zuffa boxing. Nobody cares. Every week they show a Zuffa boxing person in the crowd. Fucking crickets.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So he's in the crowd with Zuffa, and so when I see him get into the ring, I'm like, I didn't know who it was until the announcers mentioned it. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And he puts the guitar in Joe Hendry's back, and they're like, oh, he's joined the Judgment Day, and I'm like,
yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing? Who does this appeal to? Or is it just like, oh, he's got 1.2 million followers on social media. He's a big boxer, and we want to leech off that a little bit.
I don't care. None of us care about
I don't care either. I'm just saying, I would love to know when these ideas are conceived, A, whose idea it is, and why they think that anybody would give a shit.
They put more thought into this than getting Braun Breaker on the SummerSlam card for a 2-night show. He's missing. Carmelo Hayes missing. Dragunov's off TV. Countless others off TV. Braun Breaker is the most egregious of them all because of where he was at the beginning of the year to where we see him now. And now he doesn't even find himself on SummerSlam for 2 nights. How anybody defends that is just fucking mind-boggling to me.
Oh, but they will. They will. It's not his time, JD.
It's not his time, sure. As you look at his face and he's standing there as Austin Theory's groping fucking Maxine Dupree every week. He's like, what the fuck is my life?
Yeah, he's reconsidering his life choices in that image.
I'm going with Dominic Mysterio to win this. Believe it or not, I think he needs to win this. He's the AAA mega fucking champion.
This. My God, I mean, imagine if he loses to Danhausen, what the Undertaker must be thinking as he's preparing to book this guy at Triple Mania in a couple of months to defend his fucking championship.
Just give him the monies back and get this guy off TV. That's all.
No, I figure, here's what I figure. He wins the match. I mean, it's a pole match, right? So there's no disqualifications or anything. So we'll probably get JD McDonough will be out there and whatever. We'll get people in. Maybe Joe Hendry will come out to counteract JD McDonough. And Dom will pull down the human monies, and then the fucking bag will end up exploding in his face or something. So in the end, Danhausen will get the last laugh, but at least Dom can get the win. Because I think any other outcome here to me is just silly. And I know Danhausen is undefeated so far, but I don't give a shit. Like, Dom should not be. By the way, Dom, we keep talking about like Braun Breaker, and different people. What about Dom?
The hottest heel in the business about a year and a half ago. The coolest fucking heel on the roster.
What has he done in the last year?
Nothing.
Not a damn
Guys,
thing.
you want to? I know buried gets thrown around a lot. I would even actually use this word in this instance, buried.
Ridiculous.
Give me a break. Yeah, that's basically all she wrote there. And then Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Quickly here before we get to the super chats, I'm going Roman. I know. I think you're going Roman too. It's been built up decently. I mean, there's no excitement here because for 4 straight weeks they've done nothing but repeat themselves over and over and over again. Like I'm playing my Spotify playlist on repeat. I mean, it's just the same shit. But at the end, being that this is main eventing night 2, do you think that we get anything like funny happening at the end? Do we get something that leads us to what happens on Raw? And additionally, my second question to you is Roman going to be around after SummerSlam, or is he going to go on his little vacation?
I would think that, if they're doing WrestlePalooza in September, he would stick around through then maybe disappear for a couple of months, come back for War Games. So I think he'll stick around a little while longer. He said after WrestleMania, you got me through the summer.
Yeah.
Summer's not over yet. I think Roman's going to win. I think we could sit here and try to come up with how are they going to close the show? Is there going to be some kind of big angle or something? I think that it's going to be as simple as Roman finally does the one thing he hasn't been able to do. He beats Seth Rollins in a major match. And that's the story. I don't, that's it. I mean, I don't really, what would be the big surprise here at the end of the show? Does somebody come back? What would be, if they were going to set up an opponent for Roman at WrestlePalooza, is there somebody we're not thinking of? Would Drew McIntyre show up at the end and now he's on Raw and you do something with Roman and Drew coming out of the show? I mean, is there somebody who could show up that you think would be realistic?
No, he would be the only one. Do we get somebody joining the Bloodline, someone that we're not thinking of?
Not on this show.
No?
I think eventually, but not on this show.
Well, that's SummerSlam. I figure the show's going to go off the air with Holy the Ones in the air, and he walks up the aisle, on to Joe Tess in the post show. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
But Jason and I
this
were
is the most amazing SummerSlam ever.
Yeah, we did the biggest SummerSlam social media numbers of all time. I don't give a fuck, bro. Product sucks.
They were, from what I saw earlier, I think WrestleTix had an update. This, I think, was only for night 1. I didn't see the night 2 one. They were up to 32,000 seats.
Oh, well. Well, they sold 10,000 seats, huh? It's amazing what affordable ticket prices will do you. But,
yeah, and again, still 20,000 behind where they were last year for night 1.
It's all right. All right. They're going to feel the heat in the kitchen. Triple H is going to feel the heat there. There's a reason why they didn't sell the tickets. Product is terrible. And they're too high.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite part is Joe Tess at some point when he talks about the women's ladder match, talking about Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill. We got Joe
Cargill.
Cargill, yeah. We got Joe Henry.
Right? Joe Hendry, yes. That was Michael Cole, though.
Yeah, it's a fucking rib all over the place. I don't know.
I can't get over. It's been months, and it's still Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
He's the only one I have ever heard say her name that way. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't know. I don't know why they say it with the way they do. Yes. Listen, that's your TNT tonight. That's your SummerSlam preview. We went over Redemption, SummerSlam, busted open. There was a lot of discussion tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. 3,200 people in here. Thank you for all the support. If you guys are finding your way over here because you're looking for some new pro wrestling content to consume and you're not getting it from Busted Open anymore, this is the perfect place for it, as well as what we are doing individually. Jason's got his own thing. I got my own thing. So you guys are in the right place. 1,000 likes was the goal. You guys smashed that. 1141 is what I'm seeing right now, real time. Thank you guys very much for that. And we're going to get into your super chats. Again, if you want to follow Jason on social media and on YouTube, everything is linked down below. Get into these super chats. First, I want to shout out Brandon and Havili again for the massive bombs earlier in the night. You guys have really kind of kicked things off here, and we love to see it. Start things off with Michael Krause, $2 super chat. JD Jason OTS, join the tap room. How you know? Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Hardcore Kevin with a 5. Banger stream today, boys. You guys are the GOATs. Question of the day: who's the best kisser? Hey. What are you talking about? What type of question is that, Hardcore? Hardcore Kevin, you have some of the weirdest fucking questions. Seriously.
Well, he's living up to his name.
Yeah, I guess so. Timothy James with 18 months. After witnessing Monday's events, the community needs voices like JD Jason and Coach more than ever. Proud to be a member of the OTS family and advertise the brand. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate you very much. Yes, we are more needed now than ever before. Javier again, thank you, brother. Michelle with a 5. Seth Roman should put on a banger match. I hope they have a big angle planned since that match is night 2 main event. And do you see Cody Punk feuding after SummerSlam?
I do. I don't know that they will immediately go into a rematch. I could see them maybe wanting to kind of drag it out, like get away from it and then maybe come back to it. Maybe we still get it at WrestleMania next year, but by then so there's a clearly defined heel and a clearly defined babyface instead of doing 2 babyfaces.
Yeah. Caden with a 199, no message. Thank you, Caden. Bradley with a 2. Ray will never retire. Aaliyah, his daughter, has signed with the WWE. Yes, she's at the Performance Center. Yeah. Wrestling runs in the family. Sean Waters with a $5 super chat. I can't thank you guys enough watching this filth so we don't have to. Again, I know you did this for us while other fans don't have to. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you for the support.
True Crime Unleashed with a 5. Roman stated at Fanatics the Bloodline story will continue until he retires. WWE Radio announced today Denise Salcedo has officially been hired. Huh? Shocking. Shocking news. The Bloodline, it may continue until he retires, but that doesn't mean it will be good. Lloyd Witt with a 5 months. JD, I didn't know Nick Aldis was Magnus. Yes? Yes, he was.
Brutus Magnus.
Yes. Baltimore Jackson with a 199. TNT for life. OTS for life. Solo. Sound off for life. I love you guys. Thank you, Baltimore Jackson.
Cheers.
Stephen B with a 5. Even if somehow both nights of SummerSlam are great, there's no hope for Raw and SmackDown. It's game over. There's no trust. That trust is completely shattered after Monday. 100% shattered. Baltimore Jackson with a 199. What are you guys doing? What were you guys doing when 9/11 happened? What were you doing?
Well, I was getting ready to start my day. I actually had Good Morning America on the TV and saw everything kind of playing out in real time. And I was going to class. And then I walked there to the building and they ended up canceling everything. And everybody was just sort of glued to the different TVs, on campus.
Funny enough, this is very, very weird of what I was doing. I was actually on a bus in the Bronx going to FYE because it was a Tuesday. And I was on my way to go buy the new Slayer record early in the morning. The Slayer record was titled God Hates Us All. And the first track was about terrorism hitting the United States. Real talk.
Wow.
So it was just weird how I was on my way to go buy that record, and the first song was legitimately a song called Disciple, and it was about terrorism in the United States, or there was a line in there or two about terrorism in the United States, and that's what happened. Just freaky shit, but I'll never forget where I was on that day. It's just very odd. Baltimore Jackson with a 199. Thank you very much, brother. Again with a 499. A guy asks, sir, can you tell me how to get to the cemetery? Stranger replies, gladly press on the gas really hard and close your eyes. Okay. Thank you, Baltimore Jackson. Justin Toner with a $5 super chat. Another great TNT tonight. Thank you, guys. You need to check out the amazing pipe bomb promo from Grayson Waller that opened NXT tonight. It's on YouTube. Oh, you mean they're finally utilizing Grayson Waller? Interesting. What type of pipe bomb could he cut on NXT and against who? The fact that he's not being used?
Austin Theory.
They
never did resolve their feud.
They did not, no. He would actually, you mentioned, I think he would actually fit in the Vision if they wanted to use him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I said that at the time when I thought the Vision was still salvageable, but now I would just rather the Vision die a quick death and we move on.
I'm sure Braun Breaker utters your same thoughts as well. AJ
Actually,
Body. Yeah.
You know what? I just had a thought. To go back to what we were talking about with Roman and Seth.
Yeah.
And you mentioned like a new Bloodline member, maybe. There was somebody who partnered with the Bloodline in War Games a few years ago. And if you wanted to get him away from the Vision stuff and get him over to the Bloodline side, you got Bronson Reed. I don't know where he is in terms of his recovery, if he's just kind of waiting or if he's not there yet, but Bronson Reed helping Roman win and being linked up with them, what would you think about that?
I don't mind that. I think that's a better use of him than being in the Vision, but what would be the explanation that he just shows up with Roman and then not the Vision? I didn't want to be there, man. That's all. It's outlived Big Bad Bronson Reed. I don't know. AJ Body, what happened to Joe Hendry? Seriously, he was over for 2 years. They gave him jobber entrance and botched his name. Joe Henry, sometimes John Henry. Hendry. I didn't hear the John Hendry one. That's a new one to me.
Yeah, it's bad when they can't get your name right.
I don't know. We talked about it before. I don't even know why he was brought in, if that's the best they got for him. Chrono with a $5 super chat. Bow! Pew, pew, pew! Solo carried Raw. Yes.
God.
Yes, would you rather take RKO out of nowhere while grocery shopping or Taker designing decor and lighting in your room? Oh, absolutely Taker. Designing my room. 100%.
Sure.
Also, Chrono with a 2. Worst best meal you've ever cooked/eaten? It's going to take some time to think about that one. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably more of a cook than I am. I don't really cook anything.
HelloFresh has come in big over here, man. We a lot of HelloFresh in this household.
Yeah, factor. Yeah.
Dingleberry with a $5 super chat. Just stopped by to say, hey, listening to greatness never gets old. Love you guys. Thank you, Dingleberry.
Thank you, man.
Bossman Jackson 199. You find a large bag of cash. What's your next move? Depends on how much.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of important to know exactly how much is in there, because my first thought was I'm going to get the hell out of here.
Or buy a new apartment, rent a new apartment, buy a new car, usual.
It depends. One thing I will not be doing is giving it to Danhausen.
No. Now we'll get the fucking Solid Monster monies on a pole match. Bro. You think Vinny Rue is smiling from ear to ear on that creative decision last night?
Yeah, I think he had a nice little tingle up his leg when he heard that announcement.
Jericho with a 10. Have you all seen the video of 55-year-old Val Venus coming out of retirement over the weekend and doing a towel strip with his jello old-timer body? I miss who I was before I saw that video. Unfortunately, I did see this, and it was not pleasant. It was not pleasant. Did you see this, Jason?
No, I don't pay any attention to anything that Val Venus says or does.
Oh, my God. Charles, $5 see which I wishful thinking. Solid Monster already announced for Ring of Honor new TBS champion Maya World.
Is that a joke?
No, he's for real.
That's a real thing?
Yeah, she's on Ring of Honor coming up on Thursday. Jason is not pleased. Meta with a $4.99. It's all fun and games until Dom pulls those monies from the poll, only to be filled with Danhausen teeth, and the feud continues. Brother, please. Don't put that out in the universe. Ash with a 2. Cena came across so phony in WWE Unreal. Well, he is a politician.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
I haven't watched yet.
He's like a robot.
Did we know this already, though?
We did, but it was very noticeable on the show. There's something very off-putting about it.
Also with a 2, do the backstage people in WWE Unreal have Tourette's?
Yes. It is also very noticeable how many times Triple H says fuck in the course of just a single conversation. Actually, him and Liv Morgan both. Huh. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was very noticeable. Huh. If you're going out to the ring and Triple H wants to really hype you up, doesn't matter who you are. He'll come over and give you a pep talk. He'll be like, all right, this is your fucking night. All right, you're going to go out there, you're going to have a great fucking match. All right? When you go out there on stage, I want you to stop. I want you to pause for a second and soak up the fucking moment. All right, I want you to look around. This is your fucking night.
Well, he's playing up for the camera big time is what I'm hearing.
Oh, well, probably. But I'm like, geez, my God.
Oh, my God. Also, Ash, Unreal, however, is better than their weekly shows. I wouldn't doubt it. King of Philly with a $9.99. This is by far the worst year of WWE Creative. I don't see it getting any better soon because football season is soon approaching. They will be on autopilot mode by then. More than likely correct, but usually this is the time they do go on autopilot mode because after SummerSlam, we don't have anything until Survivor Series, and even the build for Survivor Series is very weak. So your next build will come at the Royal Rumble.
Oh, God. As bad as things have been, dude, this is where it's supposed to be, like, exciting.
Yeah.
And we're heading into September and October, and usually it's just fucking dead.
Yeah.
Imagine how much worse it's going to be.
Yeah. If you guys got vacation time coming up or want to take a vacation, take a break, now's the time to do it. Trust me. Anouk with a $4.99. If TK is waiting for Bayley to come over, let her win the belt and play a reverse work on what they did in WWE. Keep Mercedes losing until then. I think everybody's speculating on Bayley, and we don't really know anything about Bayley. Her contract isn't up supposedly until October. We'll just wait and see. Lewis with a $13.99. There are some things I enjoyed at Redemption, but it wasn't enough to justify its existence, unfortunately. As someone who was in the building, hopefully All In delivers where Redemption failed. Oh, it will. It will. I've been to several AEW pay-per-views, several with Jesse. We had a great time. The atmosphere is great, but that's when AEW was a different company. I don't know what it's like now. AJ with a $4.99.
Would you be able? It's funny. Would you be able to actually attend one of these events without wearing a mask or putting a bag on your head? Identify you?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah.
Think so?
I don't think I'd be able to sit in the media section because they probably all want to come for my head. But
do you remember the Seinfeld episode where Kramer takes the karate class with the kids?
Yes.
And he's beating up and they realize, because they didn't realize he was in a karate class against 8-year-olds. And then there's this scene where he's walking through a dark alley, he's leaving one night, and then all of a sudden the kids are surrounding him.
Yes.
And he goes to run away. He goes to climb up the ladder on the side of the building, and they just they grab him and they drag. I picture those are the sickos, and they're pulling you down, and they're just JD's no, and they're just dragging you down. So you might want to wear a mask or just hide your identity.
That could be a scene in real life for sure. I don't doubt it. AJ, thank you, brother. $4.99. What was so about Redemption? Tony Khan and Hangman Page are fools for bringing him back on Collision, trying to counter UFC and the World Cup. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even mentioned on the follow-up weekly television shows. It was just a very odd creative move. I don't know why he did it. OJ with a $5 super chat. Feels like WWE is just ruined by bullies or run by bullies. It could also be ruined by bullies too, but run by bullies, sure. Whoever's running it is running it into the fucking ground. MGM Ballin, $10 super chat. Playing off the previous super chat. Just imagine, yo, bro, want to come over for the Argentina game and the fights? Nah, man, I can't. Hangman Page is returning tonight. I want to see that on Collision. Says nobody ever. We'll see.
Did he return? It feels like maybe I just kind of dreamt it. I don't know. It's almost like it never happened.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He very much did. Ballin, we'll see you at the NYC Arena on August 7th, brother. Arabian Night with a $6.99. Buy, sell. What two youngsters in their companies you see as consistent main eventers first? Fletcher Knight or Breaker Trick? In my opinion, Fletcher is ready now.
Fletcher and Knight.
Who's ready now? Yeah, as far as an in-ring perspective, Fletcher and Knight. As far as identities and who they are, Breaker and Trick. So, I mean, it's 50-50. But as far as who's ready now in ring, Fletcher and Knight. Ray Reezy with the $9.99. Thoughts on SummerSlam 2000? I was turning 2 years old. What happened now? Uh-oh.
No, Absinthe in the chat made a great point. Hangman Page is a former AEW World Champion who missed 4 months, right? And he comes back, and he spent a good portion of his promo talking about gardening. And then he just disappeared. So it feels like he came back, he talked about gardening, and then he just left.
Yeah, he loves his floral arrangements in his garden, bro.
He's very, very passionate about it. Yes, that could be his new gimmick. He could be the gardener.
Yeah. Gardening cowboy. I was 32 years old, and the show took place in my hometown of Raleigh, North Carolina. Also, what SummerSlam show from the 90s to the early 80s do you guys recommend checking out? From the early 80s and 90s. The 91 and 92 SummerSlam come to mind immediately. I love the 93 SummerSlam in Detroit. I love 93.
Well, it wasn't Detroit. It was the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Oh, yes. Yes. Palace of Auburn Hills.
I always remember the Palace of Auburn Hills for the Malice in the Palace many years later. If you remember that. If you're not an NBA fan, you need to look it up. It's the biggest brawl I've ever seen break out at a freaking sports game. So every time I hear the Palace, I always think of that first. And then I think about Lex Luger and his lame victory there at the end of SummerSlam. SummerSlam 91, you can't go wrong with, man. Madison Square Garden, a lot of big things happened on that show. It's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, SummerSlam 2000, I'm looking Rock, Triple H, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, Kane, tables, ladders, and chairs with Edge, Christian, Dudley's, and the Hardys, Benoit, Jericho. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad SummerSlam. It's not my favorite. 2002 is my favorite.
Highway to Hell, SummerSlam 98.
Yeah.
That was quite the summer.
It was.
Man.
AJ with a $4.99. WWE could be the coldest thing ever and blacklist Dave and continue his compromised creation with other people glazing their dog shit product. I don't think they're going to blacklist Dave. Listen, he's got to not keep the foot on the fucking neck, but he's got to be critical of the product when it's as bad as it was on Monday. That's all we ask.
All right, so we have a match announcement for tomorrow.
Okay.
Maya World will be defending her TBS championship against the CMLL Women's Champion Persephone.
Did we get a title change already?
I mean, I wouldn't have her beating the CMLL Women's Champion.
I don't know. What the fuck is going on over there, man? Just an odd move. It's an odd move.
You know damn well that if the shoe was on the other foot, Tony would not be having his champion lose.
No.
In a situation like this.
No. We'll see.
I love Persephone, but man, I mean, if they take it right away from Maya, after she just took it away from Shida, who just won it,
I don't think people are going to be happy about that.
I don't know, but I don't think that's smart.
B Money with a $5 5 months super chat. Thank you, B Money. Solo, any luck getting ESPN Unlimited linked to your YouTube TV yet? Who do you guys think need to switch shows ASAP? My top choice is Braun Breaker.
I agree. No, it does not work for me. It does not work for me. I was actually Baydala texted me because I had responded to one of his tweets and we were going back and forth. I said, no, still doesn't work. I've gone through all the steps. I followed all the instructions, and apparently I went to the YouTube TV Reddit to take a look and see if other people were having this issue, and there's a lot of people having the same issue. So I don't know if they're just slow rolling it out. There's a ton of people saying it worked for them. I can't get it to work, so I don't think it's gonna work in time for SummerSlam this weekend. I'll tell you that.
Oh, hopefully it is. Otherwise, you got your VPN. You can back yourself up there.
I'll be watching it on Netflix.
I agree with Braun Breaker as well. I think you get him away from Obafemi and you put them on separate brands. Big E to win with a $9.99. There may be no parallel, but is there anyone in the wrestling space similar to Colin Cowherd? He created The Volume as a production company of sports content, even getting Jason Timpf on national TV.
I don't care. I don't care for Colin Cowherd. I don't like him. I don't care for him. And
why would anybody look to model their show after what he does?
Yeah. It's like
I think Chris Van Vliet and Pat McAfee are the two benchmarks for what content creation creators want to aspire to be. AJ with a $4.99. JD from NY206, the last real pro wrestling content creator. I am not. You got one sitting right next to me here. Mother Lover with the 2 months. I'm convinced JD's Wheel of Fun hates me after I skipped it after it skipped right over me twice in a row. LOL. Also, rest in peace, Pro Wrestling Nation. Not a fan of WWE Radio. The wheel. We'll bring the wheel back on Friday, brother. You will win the wheel. I guarantee you will win the wheel. I got to get merch out to 3 separate winners this week. But Pro Wrestling Nation is going to be WWE Radio from this point on, guys. There's nothing we can do about it. B-Money with a $4.99. What's one heel turn in wrestling that surprised you and didn't expect at all? The Rock at Survivor Series in 98 and Austin at WrestleMania 17 are two of mine.
Well, the Austin, yeah, I would say the Austin one is up there. Heel turn that genuinely surprised me, though. Foley, maybe, in 2006?
Okay.
That might be one. Is there one that stands out for you?
No, I'm trying to think. I don't really pay attention to those things. I don't know. I have to get back to you on that one, bro.
Cena.
Yeah.
I mean, in the moment.
In the moment, for sure.
I wasn't predicting that.
No, that's a good one. Mother Lover with a $9.99. WWE could have made their own Sirius channel by adding their podcast circuit and hosting pay-per-view play streams, leaving Pro Wrestling Nation alone. They could have been two different stations. Said, oh my God, everything's great. Yes, but then that would leave Busted Open to criticize their product, and they very much wanted to take the criticism away from the airwaves. Edward with a $1.99. Please, WWE, don't fuck up this Solo Sikoa face turn. Wishful thinking, man. They fuck everything up. AJ Body with a $4.99. If WWE wanted to be creative, why not use Dave and Busted Open to tell a story and create a Karrion Kross like pipe bomb moment? We could see that in the future, and nobody's saying that can happen. I'm assuming that'll be the next venture that they do. Telly with 32 months. BC was trying to tell us, and we didn't listen. I even forgot Raw was in Detroit last week. I couldn't even have gone. I wouldn't have even gone there. What a shame for Triple H and WWE. Listen, when everybody was shitting on Triple H 2 years ago, we both thought that it was wrong for him to get the amount of hatred that he got because the product wasn't as bad as it was then as it is now. Now, it's very much deserved. It wasn't as bad as it was then. I don't know what everybody is seeing that we're not. Tone VC with a $5 super chat. I'll be attending Dynamite tomorrow wearing my TNT shirt. Oh boy. Thank you. Hopefully Tony doesn't quickly shoot away as he did with someone wearing an OTS shirt a few weeks back, and he quickly moved the camera away because he knew it was. Pow TV with a $1.99. Did y'all catch Grayson Waller's promo on NXT? We have to watch it. We physically can't do that, obviously, because we're here. AJ with a $4.99. Neither WWE or AEW is giving the wrestling fan their money's worth. Well, if you're a sicko, you're probably looking at that comment and saying you're wrong. I am not enthused by anything that we're getting right now. Venom Supreme with a $10 super chat. Hey guys, do you think that the host on Busted Open Radio will have to go back to their WWE names? Will Bully have to be now known as Bubba Ray? No. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. Why, is Nick Nemeth going to be now Dolph Ziggler? He wrestles for TNA as Nick Nemeth.
He was Dolph Ziggler when they had him in the John Cena, whatever that tournament was.
He was. Jimmy Fingers. Guys, I know you both are not big on Bo Dallas, but TV, if you remove the stupid mask and fake Karen, just have him be himself and put him with Mark Briscoe, they got something in common. Use Rosen as a heavy. Oh, Rowan, you mean? You said Rosen. Rowan is a heavy? I don't know what Bo Dallas' intentions are. I don't know where he shows up, if he shows up at all.
We have another match announced for tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Per Tony Khan.
Jason's on Tony Khan watch over here.
It is he's obviously coming up with this in real time here because he's tweeting about all these new matches. There's a three-way for the AEW National Championship.
Uh-oh.
Andrade El Idolo defends against Jungle Jack Perry and Nick Wayne.
What do these matches have to do with each other? What do they mean? They're just random matches with no story, bro.
They were just in a ladder match and they failed to win a shot at the international title. So I guess this is their consolation prize. They're getting they're both getting a shot at the national title.
My head hurts. This is insane. Beantown, what's up, brother? $20 super chat. Hey guys, great show as always. What's up with Triple H? Did TKO piss him off? Does he not give a shit and gave up? Is he capable of quality shows like NXT? And when he took over for Vince, since Cody finished the story, it's been shit. Listen, man. A lot of people are like, "Is Vince back? He's got to be back sooner than anticipated." Some people are even saying that Triple H is fucking railroading the shows on purpose. I don't know. For what reason? The stock is down $50 in the month of July. I don't know what's going on there. Broly with a $4.99. Annoys me how women in NXT have matches like they out there trying to prove a point, while the main roster, they look like they get zero motivation. And also, by the way, to add Broly, they go only 3 minutes. Sometimes 10 seconds if you're Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. I don't know. NXT adores their women's division. WWE couldn't be bothered to give a shit. Give me Backshots Solomos with a $1.99. Do you guys think Roman wants to put over anyone? No.
Oh, his family.
His family, yeah, that's it.
No.
Bradley with a 2. Who should run creative? For me, it's Punk and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, sure. Punk, no. I think when Punk is retired, he's going to kind of settle into an NXT role. I could see that very much for him.
Paul Heyman, when he did the Chris Van Vliet interview, when he was glazing Triple H and putting over Triple H as the only one who could do this job, he said I wouldn't want that job in today's WWE because he's got too many masters to answer to.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would want the job because he really wouldn't have the total freedom to do what he wants to do.
No. Chris, $4.99. I watched both Hell in a Cell with Lesnar Taker from 02 and 15. Both men bled in both matches. Okay. That answers that question. Thank you, Chris. Yo Boy Pete with a $9.99. Just saw the Odyssey, and damn, that end credit scene where Dr. Doom walks through the portal and rips the spine out of Telemachus is crazy. Cheers to my TNT family.
Damn, I left early.
I know.
I missed it.
I Googled if I should sit and wait for the credits, and it said I was safe to leave. So
the movie was long enough on its own without you sitting through all the credits.
JD from Danhausen's Lab, 206. Oh, my goodness. $4.99. I am the other JD from that doesn't come from the JD verse. I come from the savior of Monday Night Raw and WWE's Lab Daddy, Dan. You are both cursed. Uh-oh. Our Dynamite reviews will be even worse tomorrow. Oh, no.
I thought I was already cursed as I was watching that show last night.
Oh, my God. Raekwon with a $9.99. Punk has elevated everyone he's feuded with since returning to wrestling, but I think this might be the best we get out of Cody, all things considered after these past years. What do you guys think? Yes. He's going to work incredibly well with Cody Rhodes. Cody just needs somebody like Punk to work with because it's just been utterly boring. Jeremiah, $1.99. Good show. Are you watching Spider-Man Brand New Day? I don't know what Jason is. The next movie I go to see is Oak Street.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Spider-Man just because I mentioned this on my Twitter the other day that I saw the trailer for the Avengers Doomsday movie that's coming out in December, and it looks really good.
Yeah.
And Dr. Doom was always a favorite of mine when I was younger. And so I asked the question, I said, for someone who really stopped watching Marvel movies for the most part after the first Avengers came out in 2012, like, where should I start if I want to make sure I'm all caught up on what I need to be caught up on? And I've been so overwhelmed by, like, the list of shit that I would have to watch is daunting. So I don't know, but I feel like I shouldn't watch. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't watch the Spider-Man movie right now. I feel like I should go back and watch. I haven't seen a Spider-Man movie since Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, me too.
So,
and they were great.
They were great, but I think there was another Spider-Man before the current one, right? Tom Holland's the current one, right?
Yeah.
But before him, it was Andrew Garfield.
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either. So, I don't know. I'm not planning on seeing Spider-Man. The next movie I'm going to see, like he said, is the End of Oak Street, which I believe is out on August 14th, I believe. And also, I am going to see, there's another movie I'm actually excited for. Did you see the trailer for Acme versus Coyote?
I did. It looks very good.
It looks very, you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
I could see that.
It's got that vibe to it.
I could see it.
But we weren't even supposed to see this movie. This movie was never supposed to be released. They were going to shelve it or destroy it. David Zaslav was going to fucking piss on it. They were going to throw it in a fucking fire. And we were never going to, it was going to be a tax write-off. And then this company, this studio, Ketchup Entertainment or whatever, said, hey, we'll buy it. And it's getting a theatrical release. And the trailer actually looks really freaking good.
Yeah,
and John Cena's the main villain. He's like the evil head of the Acme Corporation. So
it's man, it might be a silly role for him, but it could be something that really kind of takes him to the next level, honestly. I think it's going to be a popular movie.
Yeah. So that'll be the end of August.
Impact Entertainment, $5 Super Triple H should steal Lio Rush's catchphrase when people question his booking. It's fine. No. Nothing is fine. It's fine for Lio Rush because he's great, but no. Hollywood guy with $5 Super Draft. WWE still doing who is underneath the sheet angle with Danhausen. It could be Elias since they are doing these concerts. Don't hate me. No, it's not Elias.
Yeah, I think they've abandoned that whole
yes.
Who's under the sheet.
Yes.
I wonder if it was going to be Corbin, and then they just decided we'll go a different way creatively.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Don Stoney with 5. Shout out to Don Tony Wrestling, Soup, Spitball Media, and as always, rest in peace, Kevin Castle. Stoney, thank you, brother, as always, for being here every single night. The great Charlie with a $2 Super Chat. JD, can you get Bobby Monsoon as a guest on the show? I am tapped out on guests. If he wants me over there, I'll happily do whatever he wants. Captain Solo with a 4. Thank you for the emoji con, Captain Solo. My guy Hurricane, $5 Super Chat. This Danhausen Human Money's angle is just a reboot of the MFTs and the Lantern. You put it that way, yes. It really is. West Coast James with the $2 Super Chat. You guys, what's your favorite Alter Bridge album?
I'll defer to you on this.
Fortress. Fortress is their quintessential album. Captain Solo with a $2 Super Chat. Even though Jason does have The Other Side on his Spotify playlist, I'll give him that. It's a great fucking song.
I do.
Captain Solo with a $2 Super Chat. His gimmick could be the green thumb Adam Page. Yes, it could be. Adam Page loves his gardening. Furious Nation with $4.99. What's up, JD Soul? Hoping for SummerSlam. Delivering this weekend after that awful Raw last night. Do you think that we see Zilla Fatu this weekend or later? No Zilla this weekend. I do think with Houston and Survivor Series, there could be something to that. Just my opinion. Furious with the $4.99. Also, which is better, SummerSlam 07 or SummerSlam 08? Also, could Jeff Hardy had been the face of WWE if he didn't leave WWE in 2009? I got to look up what SummerSlams he's talking about. 2007, 2008?
08. I think the 08 one had the John Cena Batista match.
08 had Undertaker Edge in the main event, Hell in a Cell, and Batista John Cena, yes. Yeah. And Triple H was the Great Khali for the WWE Championship.
I'm sure I blocked that out of my mind.
Oh, my God. Robert Peterson with a $9.99. Thank you, Robert. Hello, guys. I'm 27, but I prefer the older WWF superstars like Razor Ramon and Jake the Snake and Ravishing Rick Rude, who I thought had potential to be world champions one day. Yes?
Smart man you are. You've got good taste.
Yes, he does. Reggie with a $4.99. JD Jason Grayson Wall promo that he cut tonight reminded me of a New Age Punk pipe bomb. You got to check it out. I guess we got to check it out. Furious with a $4.99. When Punk retires, I think he runs NXT. For the main roster, I think people like Becky, Seth, Bayley, Undertaker, and Heyman have good minds. Thoughts? Guys, you're really putting too much into this. It's going right to $7 Productions and Brian Gewirtz and Rock. Dingleberry of the 5. JD just wanted to send condolences over to you for losing your best friend. I know it hurts. Just know you will see each other again one day. He's talking about Bacardi. We just celebrated on July 24th Bacardi's 2-year passing. Thank you, Dingleberry.
Man, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. And we'll end with this before we get out of here on a tremendous Tuesday night. $199. I need Goldberg versus Nia Jax on the SummerSlam card, says the Mother Lover. I'm taking Nia Jax in that thrilling contest. All right, brother. We are all done here. I'm going to leave you to sound this off for what was a tremendous Tuesday night. You guys killed it with the super chats. 1,231 likes, and we had upwards to 3,300 people in here on Tuesday night.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is this. Obviously we spoke a lot about, independent voices and, different options that are out there for you. We have a big weekend coming up next weekend where I know the two of us on our respective platforms are going to be very busy and probably getting very little sleep. So this would be a good time to just, keep supporting and just show up. We got a good community of people here and, come hang out with us for a very busy SummerSlam weekend coming up. There's going to be a lot of content coming your way, not just TNT. And then House of Glory on August 7th on YouTube for the first time. Hopefully we see a lot of people who are in the chat right now are going to be in the chat that night tuning in.
Yes.
I'm actually getting excited as we get closer to that show. My goal is that I want people to be more entertained watching the show that night than watching SmackDown.
100%.
I think we could attain that goal.
Yes, I think we will.
I think that's doable. I think it's within reach.
I think we will. Very excited about that myself. Thank you guys for a great show tonight. Furious Nation, thank you for the $4.99, brother. And Dingleberry, again, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you guys very much. We're going to get out of here. I got to take a shower. I want to get myself a nice cold drink and play some Call of Duty Black Ops 1. I am addicted to the old games, being that they just re-released them on PlayStation 5. But thank you guys very much.
Got a couple of late ones here.
Yeah. We got Dingleberry, sorry, 2 years late. And we got Furious Nation coming in. He says, so I haven't watched the Odyssey yet, but JD, would you recommend it? Also, thoughts on Orton versus Cena at No Way Out 2008 when Orton slapped the ref. Go see the Odyssey 100%. As far as Orton and Cena, I don't want anything to do with Orton and Cena. I was doing a SummerSlam watch along on my Patreon. I actively avoided all Orton and Cena matches because I just didn't give a shit.
Well, as Orton and Cena matches go, that was actually one of the better finishes that they've ever done, where he literally just turned and slapped Mike Chioda in the face, and Mike Chioda called for the disqualification. He saved his title.
There you go.
It's quite genius.
Guys, next week we'll recap SummerSlam. Going to be a big weekend right here on Tuesday night. Again, thank you for a great stream. We'll see you all right back here for episode 158 on TNT. We'll see you guys later.